Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Albaron, Courts of Everest. I am Joe Treff, your DM this evening and most, and joining me are my friends Matt, Vincent, Tina, Kara, Hannah, and Alana. There was a good joke, I think, that happened over there somewhere. I just didn't hear it.
That was great.
But
Based on something that happened like 3 minutes ago.
You can go back on YouTube and maybe catch it at Albaron RPG, where we have all the old sessions that we play, literally 510 sessions worth of content available at Albaron RPG.
Counting.
We have, and counting all the time. It rapidly is rising. We added 5 sessions last week. We also had a whole bunch of different things. We now up on YouTube have several episodes of Ace of Roses. We have a oh my god, my brain is just like melting after all the things that we did. We have Fallout Black Hearts of Texas. We have a whole bunch of different things that you can see at Albaron RPG. We also have a YouTube and Instagram, a Threads, a Blue Sky, where you can see the different things that are over on our table. Like right now, you can see our encounter map just a little bit here, but you can see it in much greater detail at Albaron RPG. If people take pictures, Vincent is exempt from this rule too.
In fairness, when we saw Vincent being teacher's pet, we all pulled out.
No, I know. I kind of figured, but
being teacher's pet means pulling your phone out.
yes.
I lead by example.
2025. So we have all those different things. Let's see, what else do we have? This weekend is actually going to be a pretty quiet weekend for us. Nice, relaxing time. Although we're all going to be hanging out tomorrow and taking pictures and doing crafts and things like that. Where I'm sure we'll post some photos of that on Patreon. But next weekend, we were going to be returning with the final session, I believe, of Fallout Black Heart of Texas. And then I think it is the weekend after that we are beginning Iron and Thorn. The next series within the anthology, run with the Cypher system using the Old Gods of Appalachia rule set in a homebrew story written by Kara, run by Kara, and played by a number of us at this table, and then also Sable, who is joining us as well. Whew, okay, that is all the announcements that I have for tonight.
I've been your man of light. Thank you and good night.
Yeah, so we're going to get time this week for Courts of Everest. All right, and Kara, to you for the recap.
Wandering Hearts. I didn't see you there. Welcome. Come on in. Last we played, we found ourselves encircled by trees and stalked by carriage. We turned around to discover that we had been followed not even into the grove, just by the grove itself, and a carriage that matched ours exactly, including with some extra passengers on it in the form of Ori's sister. Both Ori and Valis took a good hard look at the carriage to see if they could sense anything from it. Valis reaching out with his divine sense, Ori trying to glean more information about his sister. But nothing was noticed, and thankfully, nothing happened to them when they did that. And following that, Cheshire and Billy also looked out the window at the carriage, because why not? It's right there, you gotta look at it, and we were fine too. Mm-hmm. It was great, because apparently if we hadn't, we would have gotten pulled into some sort of entanglement with the thing, and we're fine, we're all good, and we're not gonna think too hard about what that thing was.
Maybe you would have just made really good friends.
Yeah, sure. Nothing like staring into the eyes of your shadowy self from across a grove that's haunting you as the carriage stalks you around and through the trees.
It was just, you were going to have to be alone with your own thoughts
for
no. 2 rounds.
My worst enemy.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
Anyways.
Canonically, we are our own worst enemies.
We continued along that path through the starburnt pastures on our hunt for the star's spawn, a creature from beyond that is causing havoc and laying waste to the already wasted pastures, haunted by shadows. Eventually, we come across a carcass that had been slain, seemingly by skilled hunters. After a tense face-off with those in the bushes, we were introduced to Maserai, Durandal, and Ocker?
Augur.
Ocker.
Creepy
Great. I wrote it as
human.
Ochre, and that is incorrect.
Nope. OCCAR.
Hunters of Cernunnos who had lost their companions in various accidents unknown. They are just dead. We don't know why, and it's fine. Yeah, they're fine. We're all good. Whilst talking with the hunters, Alina sensed the ability to open a portal to the hunt and take these hopeful hunters on their first hunt for the wild hunt. We, after some discussion that was totally fine and didn't cause moral quandaries for anybody, we were pulled into the portal thanks to Alina's help and into a little pocket demiplane where we encountered nothing. It looked fine. And there were just some will-o-wisps, and it was going to be a great and easy hunt for these definitely skilled hunters who were going to help us with the star spawn after we helped them with their hunt. And then we realized that they needed help. They weren't actually that good at hunting, and or maybe in over their heads, as Ori discovered the existence of a hag somewhere in the darkness, invisible to our eyes. Unable to seek her out from any way except by Ori's keen eyesight, Ori attacked and tried desperately to point out the hag's location with each passing moment. Billy cast an orb of silence, stopping the hag from being able to cast on Ori, thereby making his way safer to go up and pin the hag in a corner. Cheshire herself made the thing you did. God damn it.
Fairy fire.
Thank you. Cast a very helpful spell that illuminated the hag's form, and we were able to lay waste to this hag. And by we, I mean Valis and Ori and just like a casual hunter, because once more, despite all efforts, Ori killed another hag. And Billy
Hag
didn't.
Slayer.
Fine.
The video game narration above Ori right when the arrow sings home. Hag Slayer.
Achievement unlocked.
Billy's achievement is just still got just one.
Yeah.
You've left the starting village. Yay!
Well, you came back from the dead. That's an achievement.
I
Reborn.
think that's just restarting your game.
Checkpoint.
Yeah, your KD's down.
Congratulating the hunters on their successful hunt with a lot of help, but it's fine. You know, Chosen of Cernunnos helped them through. It was great. Alina congratulated them, marking them with passage, and thanking her compatriots for allowing her this chance to lead a hunt of her own. We left the demiplane and returned to the starboard pastures. Learned a few things about Uhex and its governance, which Billy does not like. Just don't. Why are you governing yourself with covens? Just don't govern with a coven. Bad governance.
Covered.
Damn it, that was good. We continued on our way, eventually getting colder and darker, and we felt a familiarity as we approached a darkness. We have been in this plane before as we shift somehow from the material to the shadow. And amongst the shadow, something lumbered in the distance. Until we realized the distance was not so far, and the figure not so small. And before us, a monstrous thing loomed out of the dark. And this is where we begin our session.
Absolutely. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
And
Improv.
as you so accurately described, thank you for putting him on the battle
Gross
cam.
fucking moth thing.
Because you can now see that this is not so far and not so small. Everybody can go ahead and roll for initiative.
Alright, what kind of night are we gonna
Damn.
have?
A bad
Terrible night.
You got a 1 too?
Oh
What?
no!
Did you get a 1 too?
Oh,
No, I got a 2 though.
Hey, 1
Anybody
too?
natural 20. All right, 25 to 20. Oh, love
Ooh,
this
that
for
kind of
me.
night.
20 to 15.
15.
19.
15.
Okay. For the 19s, what is the dexterity score?
15 for me.
15.
I also got a 15.
15. So
I
we
rolled a
have-
15.
Gotcha. Okay.
I also got a 15. I think.
So
I
19, Cheshire,
Dex.
Oh, I'm
15. After was it was so
Uh,
it's Cheshire 19.
I got 18.
18. There
Yeah.
we go. Okay. What is your dexterity score?
My dexterity score, 17 or plus 3.
17. Okay. All right. And then you were
15.
15, and I imagine you have a higher dex.
I
No,
believe so.
20.
I have a +2.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You're a
15,
whole ass rogue.
15.
Yeah, it looks like he gets +7.
Damn. All right. And then 15 to 10.
Oh.
2 for Valis. Okay. And then Billy.
Only because I have a better initiative modifier. 5.
All right. So the way that this works out, Cheshire is starting us off at 19, then Minka with 18, then Jawmaw, then Ori, then Alina, then Billy, and then Valis, the very end of time and space itself. So Cheshire, for you, as you kind of gaze out through the space, far across in the distance, up in one of these hills, suddenly there is this, as these little bits of light kind of light, almost this dark purple energy underneath its skin. And you can see these huge eyes on the sides of its face, and then the jaw all the way open. This thing is huge. What do you want to do?
Roughly how far away is it from us?
Probably close to 100, 110 feet, it looks like.
120.
120 feet.
Okay.
Taking into account, of course, the hypotenuse.
Well, given that that's the case, Cheshire's going to say, I don't like that, and that is going to be unsettling words. A bonus action, he's going to subtract a 10 from the next saving throw he makes.
Okay.
And we're just going to slow this down. I mean, it's a wisdom saving throw.
Okay,
As
so
slow.
you cast slow over on this individual. Wisdom save and minus 10.
And minus 10, yes.
Ooh.
Okay, that's still pretty good. 25 minus 10, 15.
As a failure!
Nice.
So you slow it. But in this moment around it, you can see the little starlights underneath its skin kind of, and you can see on its shoulder there is this explosion of flesh and blood, and it uses one of its legendary reactions to resist this spell.
Hey, every little bit counts.
I made him eat it.
Duck myself behind the little wall there.
Over here?
Sure.
Or behind this wall?
You duck behind the wall.
I mean,
This one?
yeah.
So I'll keep you there.
That's all I got.
No worries. At the end of
pretty
your
good.
turn, it is going to use a legendary action. And it is going to use this to suddenly become almost like this ethereal sort of twilight version of itself. You can see the skin shifts to purple and then almost like air. And in an instant, can you place it? You said it's 120 feet away?
Yep.
Perfect. Can you put him right in front of Billy and Alina?
I just like that.
Base to base contact. Thank you.
So cool. So
And that is their legendary action as they suddenly become real directly in front of you. Billy and Alina, this creature towers over you. And Billy, the mouth yawns open in 4 different directions. And you can see this thing primed to swallow you whole. But that is its legendary action. That brings us to Minka. Minka, 10 feet in front of you now. This creature
I
arrives.
see it.
All right. All right. Quick
And-
question. No?
Because you are beginning your... How close are you? You're 15 feet away?
I have 5, 10, yep, 15 feet.
15 feet? Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, question. Since we arrived at the castle,
Correct.
we've had a short rest and that's it.
Correct.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I have this correctly. All right, cool. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be like, oh boy, howdy. We're gonna to step back a little bit.
Okay.
9, 10, like that. And unfortunately, I can't really get anywhere that won't potentially endanger anyone, so I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to use my bonus action to channel the stars. I'm going to choose Archer, and I'm going to shoot a celestial arrow at this guy and see how he reacts.
Okay. So go ahead, make your attack roll. As you take on this celestial form, you can all see that the form of the archer forms in starlight points behind Minka, and this creature, the eyes snap up and seem to almost focus in on you. You capture its entire attention, and it's not just the light, it is something much more. And that attack?
Natural one.
A natural one. That is absolutely a miss.
Yeah.
And I would say you have a nice clear pathway. There is nobody standing between you and it. You do not shoot Rez nor Alina or Billy in the back, at least not yet.
Appreciated.
I try so hard to position myself better ever
You
since
got
the
so
incident.
far, but it didn't even matter. You still missed. Anything else?
Yeah, so after that, I'm going to be like, oh boy, that, it's looking directly at me. Great. Excellent. I will try a second attack. I'm going to try the cantrip Starry Wisp. Same concept,
Okay.
but an action. Better, but still terrible. 14 total, which I'm guessing
That is a
miss.
miss, unfortunately.
Okay, cool. So, seeing it make direct eye contact with you, I'm gonna go 5, 10. I'm gonna step back 10 more feet to try to pull it more this way and give it room to be in between us.
Okay, no problem.
So if it's gonna come at me, hopefully at least it'll be tactically advantaged for someone.
Okay, absolutely. So
Um,
you prime yourself as a sort of de facto lightning lure, pulling yourself away.
Yep.
Anything else, Minka?
That was my action movement bonus action. I'm done.
Phenomenal. At the end of your turn, this creature will, still gazing at you as you draw away. Behind, you can see, phasing wobbly, a sort of mirror image to your own archer form. But these shift and turn into this twinkling twilight that is not celestial and blue. This is more of a dark purple. There is an ugliness to this. And all at once, these things fly out towards you. And
Unfortunate.
you are going to take...
Is this a spell?
this is a spell-like ability.
Can I counterspell it? I'm sorry.
I would say you know that you can't counterspell
Oh, okay.
that. It's not like a spell proper.
Okay.
Minka,
Yep.
you are taking 14 points of radiant damage.
I'm assuming this is something like a magic missile.
This is very similar to a magic missile,
Okay.
yes.
All right, cool.
But the archer form suddenly just exhausts and vanishes into the background. But that does bring us to its turn. It regains its legendary actions. It is now directly in front of all of you. And that's fantastic for me.
Yep.
So, Minka, this creature is going to barrel straight across you, Billy, running directly through your space.
Oh,
Can you make a strength saving throw, please?
Sure. Do I get an opportunity attack as well?
You and Alina and Rez are all going to get attacks of opportunity.
Do I get one as well? Because it looks like he would need to move this way to avoid this big rock, unless he's just going over it.
He can just go over it.
Okay.
Well, does the
That is
arm
a
count as
13
getting
for my
within your
saving
range?
throw.
One
A
This is bad
13.
news, I believe.
That is going to be a failure. Billy, you are just knocked prone as this creature just barrels
Great.
over you.
So never mind on that attack of opportunity, I guess.
There you go. You can, I believe, still take an attack of
Yeah, it's-
opportunity. It's just at
It's
disadvantage.
just, yeah.
Cool.
There's just like an echo across both sides of the table. there.
No. No, we just want you to do it like
So
real
you
bad.
can make one, Rez can make one, Alina, you can make one as well.
I got a 24.
Hey,
With a 24, that is a hit. This creature goes straight across. You see this big belly, kind of almost dripping the skin away from the body, and you stab up. Easy enough to hit. Alina and Rez?
Alina gets a 22.
That is a hit.
With her ram ability,
That
and
is
then
absolutely a
Rez
hit.
gets a little Rez. Little Rez gets a good number. 23.
23. That is also a hit. Everybody hits.
So that's 16 points of magical piercing
Very
and
nice.
2 points of lightning.
Very nice. That does the full amount of damage that you'd expect.
Love it.
Rez does 6 points of also magical piercing, and then that's a con save for the big boy. DC something.
That is a 23, which I imagine is a success.
Yeah, that succeeds. And then for Alina, she her little horns do 2 points of damage.
Of regular damage?
Yeah, regular old horn
Boom,
bludgeoning.
straight in, and it does 1 point of damage. But you know what? We have a saying here.
Every little bit.
There you go. We
counts.
need a little banner that we can across.
Right up there with growth.
But that is your reactions. You all slash out and jab as this creature lunges forwards. You see it climbs over this rock, certainly has a climb speed, and then right in front of you, all 4 parts of the jaw, like the predator, just strip open and then lash onto you as it takes a Voidgouger's bite attack.
Cool.
That sounds not great at all.
That is going to be not great. That is a 19 to hit.
Ooh, let me check. Because I think that might go in the wrong
Pizza,
direction.
pizza.
It might be pizza. Hang on. No, it does hit.
Okay, so Minka, this creature bites into you. He is massive and he is dealing massive damage.
Yep.
That is 33, 34, 37. That is 44.
That's not
That
done yet.
is. Sorry?
None.
Oh, that is 51 points of piercing damage. And can you make a dexterity saving throw? As
can.
this
How much
bites
damage?
around you, you can see your face in its maw. At the back of its throat, almost 2 feet back, the tongue darting towards you like a snake.
Nope.
Okay. In pain and horrified, but apparently still has reflexes.
That's
That is
good.
a 21.
With a 21, you pull your head back right as the tongue and wraps around. You get the sense that this would have bound your mouth and you would have been silenced within. But you dodge back, you pull away, you can still cast spells, you can still breathe. That is this creature's action. That is everything that it can do. That is the Jawmaw.
Sorry.
That brings us to Ori. Alina,
So-
you are on deck.
Is Minka now grappled in the mechanical
No,
sense? Or
Minka
held
is
in the
free. Minka
mechanical
is not
sense?
held in this
Okay.
maw at all.
Okay.
I look
But just
bloody as fuck
fucking
though.
injured as shit.
Yeah, like Minka yanks back. The teeth have to let go. There is just like scrapes of flesh coming off of Minka as they pull away, but they are not held.
Okay. I'm going to.
Same.
Bonus action, insightful fighting on the creature, which I believe is contested insight versus their deception.
Okay.
I think that's what it
Interesting.
is.
Yeah.
No, I'm
17.
okay.
Cool.
I was in the last fight.
It's a 16 on the die, so it's like a 30 something.
Like a 30.
20.
That is
It's like a
success.
27.
Absolutely. So looking at this creature, this is something from beyond the stars, and it is focused in on Minka. You get the sense that you can really get the drop on it by keeping Minka in front and then you behind. Insightful fight.
Do I, for the mechanical purposes, have sneak attack right now?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
That is the insightful fighting.
Okay. I'm gonna make an attack right here, and then I'm gonna move, and then I'm gonna do something else. Okay, so that's gonna be okay. So that's 28, I believe, to hit.
28 is a hit.
And that's gonna be a sneak attack. I'm gonna use fire, and I'm gonna use. Well, no, I'm not, because it doesn't have anything to disarm, so I'm not gonna use a maneuver.
Okay.
For a sneak attack and fire, so that's gonna be. I think 19 magical piercing and 3 magical fire.
Okay. Does the full
Go
amount?
fire.
Yeah. Then I'm
It's not
gonna
mundane fire.
go
Mundane.
over to here,
Not mundane.
Hey,
and
what you doing? We're here, Ori.
can I?
It's not a good place to be.
As Mika has demonstrated with her face.
Yeah. A little face tanking.
Can I?
I assume he knows what he's doing.
Don't try the
Hold
dive
on.
inside the mouth and okay, that's good.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
I have an idea of what's coming here.
Action surge, and then I want to move Minka out of the way
Yeah.
towards Cheshire and get a second attack on this thing, if possible. Or can I just move out of the way? And switch
It's
to
really
a-
one or the other.
Okay.
Unless you have
moving
believe-
out of the way, Minka, if possible.
So if you were going to use an action to do that, using that as part of your economy, I would say for free, you can pull Minka out of the way.
Okay.
That's so nice.
Pull Minka out of the way.
Hashtag save Minka.
Well, using a whole action is giving up an attack to do that,
Yeah.
so that's a big deal.
Thank
So
you,
that
for sure.
that absolutely you can do that. I would say you can pull Minka and then put Minka 5 feet away from you.
Okay.
You can't,
Like
yeet
here?
Minka over to Cheshire, but yeah, you definitely can do that.
I just, the arm, I'm not sure with the range of that arm.
I
Like,
think it's just the base, like just.
Oh, okay.
It is just the base.
okay, okay, cool.
The hand is
No
just
idea.
sculpted.
Okay, cool.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's. Oh, can I pull out my regular ass sword? I've got the regular ass sword and the crossbow in one hand.
Sure, you absolutely can. So you pull out the regular ass sword. You have pulled Minka away from this creature. You look next to Minka. You look next to you at Minka, and Minka is just shredded, looking absolutely bad. But that is your turn. At the end of your turn, this creature, seeing you kind of lunge and pull its prize away, is going to lash out and use a legendary action to make a Void Claw attack. Ori does a natural 20 hit. Of course it does.
Still free barbs. No, you don't.
Just in case this is a natural 20 also. What was that?
That is in my pencil case.
Oh.
So you might have to retry that one.
Do it again. Move the pencil case.
I did. That was 16.
A 16, so almost certainly that is going to be a 28 to hit, which I imagine.
Oh my god.
But it's not a
But it's
critical.
not.
But it is
not
not
a critical.
critical, which is good because that would have been a lot more damage. As it stands,
It's
that
not
is
a-
going to be
It's not a spell, right?
no 23 points of slashing damage.
Cool.
Plus, as the claws dig into you, there is a bright burst of starlight, and you take an additional 12 points of radiant damage.
So 12 and 23.
Correct.
35.
Yes.
Halved uncanny dodge.
Uncanny dodge. You dodge out of the way. It barely slashes across you, but you still feel the burn of the starlight. That is your turn, Ori.
Nope, that's their attack on me.
That was their legendary action.
Oh, yeah, I had already finished my
Perfect. All right,
turn.
Alina.
That was my reaction to not.
Yes.
You and then Rez, and then Billy is on deck.
Okay, Alina is going to shoot up into the air and kick Rez over in the process.
Right off. You just use Rez like Yoshi and
Yeah.
just kick right off his head.
She's gonna just back off a bit. And then she's gonna like take out the vial of some kind of thing, and be like, before she flew up, she gave a little fist bump to Rez,
Sure.
and then she's gonna cast
Roll damage.
Empower Fiend. And presumably Rez is like, "Ugh," or whatever, and Big Rez pops out.
You bump his fist, and absolutely, you see almost immediately the size begins to swell. His head gets bigger, his shoulder gets bigger, the wings out, and you can just hear him go, "Oh yeah!" He just gets huge. Those of you around him, Billy and Valis, you're almost shifted out of the size as he just has this broad base. He is huge in this space. And you can see
during my performance.
this creature turns and looks, and for just a moment, this is like a Godzilla movie. You can see these two monstrous creatures just looking at each other across the space.
Amazing.
But absolutely, anything else, Alina?
That was her bonus action and action. She doesn't need to take a free action because Big Rez can do what Big Rez wants.
Okay,
I was gonna say, is Rez's voice the same as Little Rez?
it is the same. There's a moment
His
where
vocal cords
when he
don't grow.
first came, I wanted him to be like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah." No, sorry about that. I got something in my throat. But I didn't get a chance to do it. So
Sorry. All right, so that's Alina's turn.
Okay.
And now it's Rez's turn.
Billy, you are on deck.
And he's gonna come up behind the big guy. What size is he mechanically?
He is giant. Sorry, he is huge.
That's one above large, right?
Yes. Yes, sorry. I had to think
And
for a
giant is
second.
above that, right?
Yes, and then there is colossal above that. And I think
Okay.
gargantuan as well.
So Rez is gonna step up behind him, go ahead and do a little melee multi-attack, and the first one he's gonna attempt to grapple the big guy.
Okay.
So that is
Like Clash of the Titans.
athletics
It
check
goes up to
contested by
colossal
strength.
plus 16.
That's pretty good. Athletics,
Mm-hmm.
31.
8. Okay. So that doesn't work, but then he gets his other 2 attacks.
Rez just goes, I feel invincible! And just grabs on. It's like grappling him from behind, and you can see Rez strains every muscle in his little body, tries to like German suplex this creature over, and you can hear a in his knee as he's just like,
no.
oh, no, I'm gonna do something different.
that.
He lets go. He kind of cracks his knuckles.
Okay. So he gets a multi-attack, and I checked it. So the grapple is one of those, and then he gets the other 2. Okay. So this is mechanically a bite, but actually for flavor, I think he's doing the like go to sleep.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I think you're flanking.
Are we flanking? Oh yeah, Ori's there.
So technically, with that fist not being part of the base, Ori isn't flanking it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So wait, does that mean that I'm also not within range of it?
You don't know what its
Or,
reach
well,
is, but if
I'm
it was
not
a
within the
5-foot reach,
reach, yeah.
I think it's because you're diagonal, like,
Okay.
to it.
Yeah.
All right. First one is going to be a 19 to hit.
19 is a hit.
That's not that D12. Look at that.
Ooh.
So that's going to be 15 points of necrotic damage.
Very nice. That, however, only does half of what you would expect.
And he's like, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. This one's going to be necrotic too. 14 to hit.
14 is not a hit, unfortunately.
And that is Rez's turn.
All right, Rez pops a kneecap like off of his knee, but aside from that, starts just kind of whopping on him, hits him right in the kidney. He's just going for every cheap shot that he can from this angle, but just doesn't seem to be doing too much. That is Rez's turn, and that brings us to Billy. Valis, you are on deck.
Growth! Hexblade's curse.
That growth is remembering the abilities we made along the way.
So Billy, after having this thing in front of her, and now has it behind her, along with another kaiju, turns around and runs. Oh, damn, she's gonna attack this guy for what?
I mean,
It's right there.
it's right there.
So, yeah, Billy's gonna
Vulnerable.
go in that square next to Rez. I think that
and just
can that happen
Is
because
the farthest point from
because Rez is large now, where Rez's foot is.
yeah, he's
I think that stone takes up a little bit of the space there.
Yeah.
No,
But there is enough
you
room
can't
that
stand
Rez
like
can just
between
be a little
Rez's
bit
legs
over.
or something.
That's fine, yeah. Right there's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
Yeah,
where
there
I
you
wanted to go.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Because Rez's base is what's preventing him from being in that same space as the stone there, which is only taking up the corner of the space.
So, Hexblade's curse, and then Billy is going to cast Booming Blade,
Okay.
which she hasn't had an opportunity to do because you don't really want to cast thunder spells inside of a cave. And we love caves,
We do
apparently.
love caves.
And Billy's always
I
been
gave you guys a whole
fucking
forest to walk through, and you're like, let's jump in this gully and go into caves.
Not Billy's choice.
No, I know.
And no, we don't have flanking, so we have to just roll flat.
Yep.
So that is going to be a 29 to hit.
That is a hit.
Alright, so I haven't cast Booming Blade before.
You just bring that with you.
Normally
I just wanted to make sure
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
like another roll of paper towels before I just bring this
then-
over here.
We are going to put weapon damage, and we're gonna burn a Bardic so that we get a little more damage.
Alright, cool.
So that is 8 plus 12, 22 points of magical piercing,
Okay.
and 8 of which goes to Billy for AC,
Very
because this is a
nice.
defensive flourish,
Excellent.
and 5 points of lightning damage. And it is also sheathed in booming energy.
You can see there's just boom all around this thing. You can see as you strike into this creature from behind, there is a reverberation that just hums around the skin, and the weird sort of fat, almost cartilage that is hanging off of the bones just reverberates and vibrates, almost like the water in Jurassic Park.
And 11 points of thunder damage because cantrips scale with levels, and on hit I get to do damage.
Very nice.
Yes.
Great.
Okay. You strike this creature there, sheathed in booming energy, and you move faster. As you are able to, and this is not just one strike, you slash across, carving into this again and again with the sword. You have the flank of this creature. Is there anything else, Billy?
That is all for Billy!
At the end of your turn, it will use a legendary action to wheel around and turn, and you use that to your advantage, just moving deftly to the side. It is going to take an attack against you because you were the one that hit it,
Try it, bitch!
but you feel strong in this moment. Billy, that is not going to be a great hit. That is going to be a 20 to hit.
No!
Oh, here.
It slashes, and you tuck and roll out of the way. Like any good action or RPG, you are able to just roll to the side.
Oh, that one fell off.
This just slams into the ground next to you and digs a deep gouge out of the earth. But you are fine. That is its legendary action at the end of your turn. Billy, that brings us to Valis.
Alice, we can move!
Alright,
I'm just gonna. Alright.
Yes.
he's gonna turn around
Yep.
and point his sword towards the star spawn.
Okay.
And he's gonna grab one of his beads and he's gonna say at it, "Star spawn!
Yes.
This is Albron, and you do not belong." And then he's gonna cast mental prison on it.
Okay.
Is it immune to being charmed?
I think it is, but give me 1 second here.
Were you working on that the whole
It is
round?
not immune to being charmed.
Like all week. Alright, make a intelligence saving throw.
Okay.
If you don't mind just failing that, that'd be great.
I'm gonna. That's a 9.
Nice.
Ooh, that's a failure.
Mhm.
Hey.
Alright, so it's going to take those are good numbies.
Above average numbies.
33 psychic damage.
33 points of psychic damage.
Yes.
That does about half of what you would expect it to do.
Alright. And then
Make him want to move. Make him willingly want to move.
this star spawn, the world around it goes black. And then it starts to see radiant chains form on all of its limbs and tighten, and all the chains coalesce up top, and you see a huge radiant sword floating above him. And he has the impression that if he moves, the sword will drop.
Okay. Absolutely, you pull them into this mental prison. As you break this bead, it is like the arcane energy becomes these chains that bind it into this
Terrifying
place.
organ music plays.
And now it's also blind and deafened.
Yep.
And then I
Acquire
walk up to it and
pains.
attack it twice. Can I
Go
roll
for
D20?
it.
Yes.
Alright.
Wait, not that one.
25 hit.
25 does
Oh,
hit.
his freaking beads. Yeah.
Beads?
Again. Ever.
Bees.
Guys, I'm trying to take my turn.
Billy's just like, when can I do a cool thing? Everyone takes my cool things.
That will be 13 magical slashing and
Did you
3
want to stab
radiant.
him in the butt?
13 magical slashing does the full amount that you would expect. And then how much radiant?
3.
3. That only does half as much as you'd
Oh,
expect.
does it? That's unfortunate. Second attack. 24.
24 is a hit.
And
Oh, we got a wheel.
Yeah. With an instruction to slay. I'm already
Like,
doing that
wow.
auto.
Yeah.
13 magical slashing with 3 radiant.
13 magical slashing does the full amount. And 1 radiant damage just coupled on top.
Phallus.
Anything else, Valis.
And then I'm gonna move, I think, here, and end my turn.
Okay. At the end of your turn, it will use its final legendary action on this round to use teleport. And it will move again to an unoccupied space.
Wait, does it have to be able to see where it's going to teleport?
It doesn't use eyesight.
Oh my god.
It actually can't even see the sword.
Alright, it says if the target is moved out of the illusion,
Correct.
so somehow, and it doesn't understand it, that sword zooms on it and just still crashes through him.
Nice.
Everybody got what they wanted.
I'm so happy everybody got what they wanted.
Okay.
Yay! Vincent, we got what we wanted.
What do we want?
Damage on the bad guy.
So you made it so that he didn't want to move, but she cast it so
Ah.
that made it so that he wants him to move. So now
That's why I
everybody
was
gets
just like,
what they
make
want.
him move, make him move.
Oh, that's not a good roll. Wow, that's a terrible roll.
13 points of thunder damage from the booming blade.
Very nice.
37 psychic damage from the mental prison coalescing on him.
Which is halved to 18, I believe.
Did the thunder damage do the amount we would expect?
It did do the full amount that you would expect.
That.
Knowledge.
I've got the power of God and anime on my
Oh.
side.
That is
Thunder
its reaction at the end of your, or sorry, its legendary action at the end of your turn, Valis. That does bring us to the top of the round. And to Cheshire.
Stop it.
Minka! She's gonna run over, and if Minka reaches out back to her, dimension door over here.
Oh,
Very
very
nice.
Okay.
We're gonna fuck off!
So you
Later, nerds.
almost bodily slam into Minka. Minka, the breath is driven out of you more than it already is, but instead of moving backwards,
another
you have the
pint of
sensation
blood.
of moving forwards.
Okay.
And suddenly your feet, like you bark your shins on the step of this weird like set of stairs that goes up to what looks like part of an open doorway. You are now far away, and Cheshire just releases you on the steps.
Not quite.
Huh?
Girl and pops a healing potion in Minka's
Thank
mouth.
you.
Dump this healing potion. But Minka, as the healing potion goes into you, no healing comes.
Right, because
Mm.
we knew that already.
You feel the cuts
Right.
just still bleeding blood. Nothing
Yep.
is healing. Nothing is changing. It is like the time around your wounds has stopped.
Yep.
Anything else?
Or he's real close, that guy.
Cheshire.
That's it.
All right, you dimension door Minka out of danger. At the end of your
used my
turn, with
reaction.
Minka now gone, this creature lets out a roar of rage, and as it does, it is going to swing its attack. Blind though it is, it does have blind sense, and Aura, you are right in front of it. However, does a 16 hit?
It misses!
And so it just whiffs widely onto you,
Thank goodness.
swinging in the general area of the vibration of your footsteps. You dance out of the way, you jump up, and the fist just goes straight underneath you. But that is its legendary action. That is Cheshire's turn. That brings us to you, Minka. You are now on the steps. You are much further away than you were in the past.
All right. Slightly dizzy and probably coughing up blood at this point. She's going to kind of assess herself, and from our conversation previously, with the guy that I'm forgetting the name of.
Tiberius?
Tiberius.
Tiberius.
Tiberius, excuse me.
Tiberius is correct.
He implied that they have tried all manner of healing already, and I'm assuming that means things like greater restoration to try to break this.
You'd imagine so.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with that knowledge and just assume that that is not gonna work right now, and not to burden the resources for it. Is the stone in this area regular stone?
At a glance, as far as you can tell, it seems like mundane stone.
Okay.
Do you have
I
stone
will-
cutting?
It's Minka.
I will take more time to
Cutting the stone?
to like really like look at the ground here and like try to figure out if there is any like magical enchantments on it or if
Yes.
it's just straight up
Con the stone.
Make an Arcana check.
rock.
No, not when
It's-
we have an O'Keefean mom.
And make, I would say, make that that advantage.
Okay, let's see. Oh fuck, terrible. A total of 5.
Where's
So
he blinded from?
no. I got a natural 1 and a 4.
Oh,
We're
when?
rolling
You
terribly.
really look at the ground, but as blood just pours out of the wounds around your face and your neck, you just can't concentrate.
Yeah, okay.
All you are seeing is just the blood mixed with stone in front of it, and you are aware as you grow cold that it is yours.
Yes.
Um,
Alright, cool.
But keep it around.
Anything else?
I want
No,
to check
not on
the
it.
range on this, because I believe he's currently out of my range, because we are about 120 feet away.
Where's the range of this?
Okay, so I cannot heal myself. I cannot cast that without
Can I
my
land
action.
on top of him?
So,
What happens if I land on top of him?
yeah. Where is the range on this stupid thing? Ah. It is 120 feet. Okay, we're probably just a little bit. We're just slightly too far. Cause that one's 120 feet. That one's, okay, cool. I cannot reach 120 feet.
All right. Anything else?
So, I will turn to Cheshire, and using a bonus action, casting Magic Stone on 3 Thunder Rocks,
Okay.
and to give them to Cheshire and be like, use them if you need to. This is all I could do right now.
So you look as Mom hands you a loaded gun.
So the magic stones, when you use them, you use my range spell attack, which is +10, and it would be I think that plus lightning damage. Yeah. So 1d6 +5 plus another like d4 lightning damage. I think I had to look at my notes, but they will have some kick if you need them.
That is your turn, Minka.
That's it.
All right. At the end of your turn, this creature is going to take a legendary action. And Ori, you dodged the first time, but the second claw sweeps around, and it makes a second attack against you. That is going to be much better. That is going to be a 30. Sorry, a 29 to hit.
Ori, look out! Silvery barbs.
Okay, not as high. That is going to be a 22 to hit.
That still hits.
All right.
Nice try.
With a 22, that is going to be not great damage for it. 19 points of slashing damage plus 8 points of radiant damage. Ouch. And that is its legendary action.
I intercept for reducing that by 11.
Very nice. So you throw your shield out. You can see Ori about to take this huge slash. They had already dodged the first one, and you just barely deflected. Ori, you just get little motes of starlight in the eyes. But that is your turn, Minka?
That was its legendary
That was its
action.
legendary action
Yeah,
after
yeah,
my
yeah.
turn was done.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, right. So
Yes.
it does take its turn now. It is going to. What?
Sorry.
Did it already go?
It already went.
What already went?
It did.
Jawmaw.
Monster?
I did?
I think Maker goes before it.
Poured
Yeah.
out of the way.
Uh,
That was a
No,
that
that
was a
was
legendary
a
action.
legendary action.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
so
going
it's
now
the
for
two
its
of us,
turn.
yeah, and then
And it's just
Oh.
gonna.
It goes right after.
swing
I thought it
around
tied with
here.
Cheshire. I didn't think it tied with me.
No. It did tie with Minka. They both had 18s.
Hmm.
Okay, so it
Weird.
swings around to the side, just scraping along the ground as it slashes across at you. As you intercept Valis, it seems to hone in, the ears just tracking you, and it slams its fists into you first. So it takes a multi-attack. The first one is a 20 to hit.
Miss!
The second one is going to be even lower than that at a 14.
Hits.
And then third one, that's off the table. The third one is going to be a 28 to hit.
Oh, that'll hit.
Okay. So it slashes across, and it is going to deal.
That'd be an interesting item. Armor where like it's got like a super high DC, but if it hits like a random like someone hits a 7 on it, it's like oh, it's a crit.
That is going to be 25 points of slashing damage, plus 18 points of radiant damage.
Ooh.
As there is just a burst of starlight, it almost trying to smite against you with maximum bonus damage. That is all 3 of its attacks. And then
That was a lot of attacks.
seeing all of you just kind of gathering around it, seeing everybody kind of teleport away, as a bonus action, it is going to use Call Starlight.
That's
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
That does sound
What
bad.
if he doesn't do that?
You could not do that.
Why do I
Oh,
have the sense
good.
that we're getting
Oh,
meteor
God.
cast on us?
Yeah, I
Or
feel like
Moonbeam or- yeah.
You see a mote of starlight appear behind you and
this
next
feels
to
like
you,
an Elden
Valis.
Ring
I just like that
boss.
it's just there, and that there's seemingly no effect.
Oh, it's a fucking time
Right
bomb, I'm
below
sure.
you can see one of these appear as well. And then Billy, you and Rez both look down. And you hear Rez go, uh-oh. As these just appear on the slide. You see actual motes of starlight just glowing, almost radiant in this form.
Where is this standing exactly?
It is standing,
like here?
yeah, like right there.
Okay.
So it should be touching you and Ori. That is all that this creature can do.
Its face, it looks like it's just...
That is going to be Jawmaw. That brings us to you, Ori, and then Alina, you and Rez are on deck.
I have a question mechanically.
Sure.
If I wanted to like be on top of this guy,
Hmm.
what would that be?
Immensely dangerous.
Dinner first, at least.
So,
Because like the way this creature is constructed,
yeah.
it probably has a hard time reaching its back, right?
You know,
That's what I.
You see how long those arms are?
Yeah, but then it has to get. It uses them for crawling.
You
so it's
can
not
you
as
can
kind
draw
of-
assumptions as a free action, but what are you doing?
I guess I won't do the cool thing.
Okay.
Sounded cool.
It did sound
Do the
cool.
thing.
Well, I wanted to bonus action disengage, fly up here as the wingies thing, and then come land down while shooting a crossbow into its back.
That sounds dope as hell. I would say
Land
that would probably be a dexterity saving throw to not just eat shit as you land on it. But aside from that, like, yeah, that's very possible.
Cool. All right.
So
I'm gonna
absolutely,
try that.
you use a bonus action to disengage and here in the darkness of this space, far enough away from the starlight by literally 5 feet.
Nice.
You are able to up as a bat and then just drop on
Not
this
as a bat,
creature.
just
As
the
a- yeah.
flying. Yeah.
Does he get flanking on this attack? Because technically, like,
He's flanking with the
Yes,
ground.
you do. You absolutely do.
flanking him,
No, with
his head.
Ori. Absolutely do.
I have
Yeah, well, that
a
was the-
Carol
also-
question.
Yes.
All healing is stopped, or just the healing the creature
Nice.
inflicted?
Okay,
is
so
stopped?
the shot.
I was damaged before the fight started.
Yeah. Oh, then that healing would
Um,
have taken effect.
Okay, it wasn't
so
a lot.
Then from Cheshire's potion, you would have healed
Yeah.
like probably, I would imagine 6 points of health.
That's 27 to hit.
27 is
So
a hit
that
as you
would be-
teleport up above this creature and then just drop down with your mundane short sword.
And that's gonna be.
Double digits
Yeah. That
wow.
was a good question. I wouldn't have had that.
That's gonna be.
In my head, I was like, that's a silly question. But then as you asked it, I was like, that's a good question.
Yeah, yeah.
25 magical piercing and
As the healer, these questions are
10
relevant.
yeah,
Okay.
crossbow, magical piercing.
Okay. I see what's going
Yeah.
on.
Like 5 feet
Yeah.
over.
So 25
pulling a
points,
Matrix.
magical piercing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay.
And
You're so
then
perfect.
and 10 fire,
10 points of fire damage. Okay.
and then the dexterity save to not fall when I land. Nice. That's it's a 19 on the die.
That is
for,
a success.
Something dexterous.
So in this moment, you have a choice. You can trust your assumption that this creature can't reach you and just stay on its back, knowing full well, likely if it moves at all, especially if it teleports, you're going to fall. Or you could kind of slide down the back and end up behind it.
Slide down the front and get bitten.
Also, I guess you could do that, but I assumed that you would make a good choice.
Yeah, no, I think I'll probably, now that I've done the cool thing, I can land in a spot that's not as cool, but still.
Okay, so you shoot, you
Very
land,
uncool, that's
it
all.
reaches up to
Hope it
grab
doesn't
you,
fart.
and you slide down the back. You could see damage from Billy behind this creature, but that is
In the
your
butthole?
turn, Ori.
Experience. Yeah, just hope he doesn't fart.
Why has it
It
got
does
2
have
buttholes?
One more attack as this happens, and Valis, you are right in front of it, so it will take it against you.
Oh, also, just quickly, that's not a spell, right? None of it's a spell
Correct.
for this.
As far as you could tell, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Valis, that is only going to be a 19 to hit.
Woo, miss.
All right, so you are able to just hold the shield up. It almost levels you with the force of its blow, but that is Ori, your turn. That brings us to Alina. Rez, after Alina.
All right. Yuna is gonna do something. And it's different than what she was gonna do. Because Ori did a cool thing. Alright, I'll just blast. Pew pew pew. All reliable. So this is
As is traditional.
yeah, this is oh, okie dokie. We've got a 23, a 17, and a 13.
Please spread.
The first 2 hit.
Okay. Woo-hoo-hoo. So 25 points of force damage and 4 fire.
All right, the force damage and the fire damage do the full amount, 25 for okay.
Dope. Okay, and then she looks down and she's like, I don't know what that thing is, but
This
I
creature is
don't
starting to
like
look
it.
rough. As you hit it with that spell, you can see that is a tremendous amount of damage. You are pouring it in after Ori was able to just shoot it from above and then slide down. It's starting to look hurt.
She's gonna come over here because she doesn't like being right over this, whatever it is.
Okay.
And then as a reaction to Rez, she's gonna be like, dude, fire, not necrotic. And now it's Rez's turn.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. You didn't know. I didn't know. It's okay. I know you can do fire. You got this, buddy. Okay. So he is going to hurl flame. So this is 3 attacks because he's got multi. So the first one is going to be a 14.
That is a miss.
Second one's going to be a 17.
That is a hit.
And then a 25.
That is a hit as well.
All right.
So
that's-
Rez almost floats off the ground. You can see infernal motes of flame appear in his hands as he just throws them over. For you, Ori, you have to like dodge out of the way. For a second, it almost feels like the first one is kind of thrown at you, but the other 2 certainly at this creature.
Sorry. Okay, so one of those is going to be, so that's 15 plus another 15, so 30 points of fire damage.
Very nice.
And then he's gonna just kind of fly over here and be like, I'm gonna stay over here because fire's working pretty good. Everybody, the fire's pretty good.
Everybody, I just flew in and boy, my wing's tired. But yeah, he just lands
Good
right
one,
over
huh,
Matt's
guys?
face. Anything else for Rez?
No, I think that's it.
All right. At the end of Rez's turn, this creature will use its second legendary action, and it is going to just kind of wail on Valis again, frustrated that it doesn't seem to be able to hit. And it will not continue that trend with a 28 to hit.
That hits.
All right, Valis, this creature slashes across your breastplate. That is only going to be, however, 19 points of slashing damage plus 6 points of radiant damage as it just digs into you. Now, the other end of the spectrum, the radiant light seemingly a little bit extinguished from its big blow before. That is all that it can do with its legendary action, and that brings us to Billy.
All right. Billy
Valis,
is
you're
going
on
to
deck.
forward. Face contact. As close as we can get without making our minis kiss.
Mwah.
Yes.
Thank you. That is indeed what I wanted. Excellent. All right, so we are going to make. Do I have lightning or no?
As you run up there with Ori, certainly you do.
Sweet. So we're gonna make 2 attacks.
Ori's right next to its booty.
Get him, Ori. Hit him from the back.
All right. So the first
Can
one
I hit it
is
from
going
the
to
front?
be a 31, and the second one is going to be a 22. So those both hit, I believe.
Yes, they do.
We are going to roll the damage all together, because why the hell not? And we're going to expend another bardic to do a mobile flourish. Mobile flourish will be this die here.
Okay.
46.
Man, look at all that flourish.
Ooh, indeed. So that is 10 points of lightning damage. That did not need to get rolled. It's a good number though. And then 31 points of magical piercing damage plus another 7 points of magical piercing damage. and he gets pushed 12 feet away from me.
Woo.
Billy. He does not. Tell us how it happened.
Nice.
Whoa!
Got the kill. It's not a hag.
It was so close, too. I was like, oh, I probably have another round. I was getting ready to figure out what to do with the last legendary action, but phenomenal. Billy, tell us how it happens.
He does get pushed, Joe.
Okay.
It's a mobile flourish. And Billy just like slashes one last time, and Sinterson erupts in a flare of cold blue lightning as she thrusts the star spawn away from her, and just kind of is like waiting for it to get back up because obviously she didn't kill it.
And there is this thunder that follows in the wake of Sinterson, and you wait for this creature to get up, and there is a moment where it plants the hand. It tries to climb, but you can see as it tries to get up, your last blow has almost divided the face down in half, and as it plants its hand and then the other one, the whole body just rips open and it falls very much dead.
And Billy gets 5 points of health from that.
And in these moments, for just a second, you can see there is a 20-foot radius around these motes of light that kind of flickers, and then the lights go out.
Phew.
And you are all out of initiative.
Does it seem like Minka can be healed now?
The sort of time that it stopped around these wounds seems to continue to flow again. For those of you, especially Minka, in this kind of celestial form, if there is passive healing that you are doing, it begins again.
All right.
Cheshire cast heal.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
very
That's what
nice.
you do.
The big
70.
heal.
Billy's just kind of looking around like, who killed it this time?
I think after that, Minka would just like collapse into a hug into Cheshire and just be like,
That was so scary.
Alina's gonna fly down and like start like hyping Billy up, like, oh my god, you got look at that, like true Thornholm, just like fuck yeah, celebration.
In this moment,
like,
too, Rez flies over, goes, yeah, Billy, and just
careful, gentle,
and just
gentle.
knocks all of you down. You just
Really?
tumble, and you're oh, sorry. I'm still kind of getting used to this, you know.
We'll keep it going for the full hour, bud.
Yeah.
I'll
Study
concentrate.
the remains. See if there's any signs of like what is like. How'd this thing get here? What is this?
Sure.
You know, like
Make a
no,
medicine
it's
check.
Star spawn.
Billy wants to get something salvageable to take to our armorer friend.
Sure, make a survival check as you lumber over to this creature's body. For
Can
the
I,
rest of you, in this moment, as you look around, there is no additional creatures. The starlight has gone out. You are still in a very dark place. Overhead, there is no sky. There is just the churning shadows or smoke or whatever it is that floats above in the Shadowfell. It is cold here. There are little bits of this darkness that just kind of rain down in the space. And as you look around, you can see exactly what you see in front of you. You see the stone ruins of something that once was a long time ago. For you, Minka and Cheshire, you sit on very large stone steps that lead up to a circular doorway that is now just a ruin. Most of the building that is beyond now much ruined and kind of collapsed in on itself. But for you, Ori, what was your check?
I wanted to ask before I did the check. Instead of medicine, I'm thinking about it more in the context of this is a star spawn. We know that the Divine Court who sent us here actually wants to bring the stars back. So is this thing something that came here or was capable of coming here as a
Make an
result of
Arcana
that?
check.
Or like as a result of their, not their desire, but like
Make an
that
Arcana
effort
check.
of...
Is Valis able to help Billy?
How are you going
Valis
to help?
offered.
I would like
20.
try to help identify or cut things that need to be cut.
Okay, so
What's
one
the word
of
I'm
you-
looking for? Not salvage. It's
Fabricate is what I usually use.
No, it's I forget.
skin.
Yeah, it's like
Scavenge.
skin. Scavenge. Oh, there's a different word.
Hard.
I'll remember. I'll yell it
It'll
randomly
play.
later.
Yeah,
Harvest
it'll
is a good
harvest.
word.
Harvest. Harvest.
So you can make a survival check or make it at advantage, rather.
Yeah, I already made one, so
Okay.
it's just a matter of rolling a second die.
Yeah.
We get shit, friend. We get 11.
Damn.
You excitedly stab into this thing, and then again, Sinterson lets out another burst of electric energy, and this creature is just exploded from within. If you've ever
Fried
seen the
star
video
spawn.
of the whale that like is
on the
exploded on the
beach,
beach,
yeah.
it's like that. You just burst it all over the
Um,
place. You hear from behind you, "Yeah, Billy!" And like Rez just starts clapping. The wings flap
It's just
mightily behind
clumps
him.
and like buckets of liquid fall off, and all you see is like the eyes and the
Ambergris.
smile, like.
That was dope, Billy. But
Nice
yeah,
job, Billy. I don't think he's gonna get up
with
from
a
that.
20, you consider this. You consider, how this sort of might play in. You don't have a huge background in the arcane, but you do get the sense that there is something related to perhaps the connection to this place, the Starburnt Fields, or the place that is just beyond, and this creature. What that might be, hard to tell, but perhaps the Divine Court knows more.
Can I? Sorry.
I'll go for it.
Can I just go check out the well over there?
Yeah.
Fly over, use my not elf eyes, my cool devil sight magic eyes.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Yeah, so we've succeeded at
Does
this
the
point, right?
circular object behind us
Yeah.
resemble like a portal in the more magical sense, other than
Make
just
an
a
Arcana
door?
check.
21 for me.
With a 21, as you fly over this, you notice a couple different things. First of all, using your
We got
magical
another
dark vision eyes, you can see
Oh,
that
nice.
the remains that you are seeing here, and especially with that wheel, I would say, at first you were sort of tempted to believe that this was in really bad shape, and it is. But part of what you had seen is just collapsed platforms, places that were just like the foundation or bedrock. It's not quite right. When you look from above down, you're recognizing that your scale was a little bit off. This is not a large building. This is a giant building. And not a building that is giant just in scale, but used for and crafted by. You look over and see the statue. It is huge, though mostly kind of collapsed and submerged in the ruins here. What you thought was a tower is really just the corner of a much larger building that once stood here. And what you are looking at is an active well. You see water, though a little bit scummy. It's like still water, and so not the best at the moment.
Lots of
Um,
skeeters.
There's no mosquitoes here, but there is what looks like almost like a dark kind of like the same way that you would see duckweed on a pond. This is just like a black kind of blobby version, and it looks almost like Venus flytraps on the surface. What you are seeing also is that has mechanisms to draw water from it. That seems like at one point it was a water source for this building.
Okay. Alina's just gonna call out, y'all, I think this is like where some giants used to live, and we've been encountering raised shadow things, so be on your guard.
Does
I wonder where
that
this
track,
was.
like, given we're near the Fields of Folly, Starstruck,
You don't think this was
are in the history of it?
What was your check, Minka?
13?
With a 13, really hard to tell. That might be a magical portal. Given the scale of giants, maybe just a toilet that kind of tilted forward. It's hard to tell.
Tip of the day.
Within the history of like the Fields of Folly and the area around here,
With your check of 20, you know that you're not in the Fields of Folly. You are in the Shadowfell. And so, though it is a dark mirror of what's on the material plane, things are not one-to-one where they might be. This may not be directly where you just walked in from. It might be adjacent, it might be close, it might be a mirror, but
I
you
guess,
don't think that it matches anything that you can think of directly on the material plane.
I guess what I'm wondering is, what is the giant's involvement with this area, or its connection to
Make a history check.
like the Fields of Folly?
Make a history check, and I would say you get your bonus on this.
After this check, I want to know what the fuck Cheshire is talking about.
Yeah, we want to go back to that. We're
Yeah,
just using it for crosstalk
just for a
purposes.
second, yeah.
That's only a 13.
With a 13, you actually have heard a lot of history of this area, and there's something that kind of nags you that maybe there is an answer there. But with a 13, you had other things on your mind and your schooling and history
Something about
now.
this place.
What'd you say, Cheshire?
I wonder where this was before.
Where?
Before what?
Are we not on the material plane?
No.
We're in the
Shadow
Definitely in
Shadowfell.
the Shadowfell, but what do you mean where?
Before the tears.
Say more words. You gotta talk in complete sentences.
What?
Tears where? What tears?
Ooh, like that
Who's
ship
on
we
first?
saw.
What?
What?
Were you just talking?
Maybe. Why? What did I say?
You said you wondered where this place was before the tears.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah. What
do.
are the tears, Trash?
I don't know.
What do you?
Like from
So
a
is it
different
like that boat?
plane?
That boat we were on? That's in the 3 planes?
Right.
If you think real hard, can you think real hard? Hurt the brain a little bit.
What am I thinking about?
Tears. What tears? Planar tears. Dress
I mean,
tears.
maybe.
Have we seen tears before of what you're talking about?
I don't know. Have you?
I mean, like when
Make an
we've been
insight
traveling
check.
together.
Damn
To
it,
see if I
Cheshire.
can figure out what she means by tears, given the context.
If you want to.
I'm sorry, Tina. Can I insight check you? Okay.
Billy's gonna like start stomping forward, covered in gore. She's like, "I'll give you a hug."
I got an 18. What do I know?
First, if Billy's coming over, press the J. Cheshire looks like she maybe saw something for a moment,
Hmm.
but it's gone.
Well, like, I mean, if you remember anything else about what you were just saying, that would be cool to know.
Within this
About what?
area, are there any
Pat, pat,
other
pat.
indications of how
Okay.
this thing could have gotten here? Like what? Because this thing, it's kind of made a layer out of this area.
Area.
So, whatever the purpose of this temple, or, you know, seems to have long since expired.
Sure.
And this thing, like, it's been here for some time. Like, not native to the Shadowfell. So I'm trying to figure out, like, looking through this area, kind of leaving the body and scanning around, kind of investigating the space. Are there any, like,
Make an investigation
other signs of, like,
as you begin to kind of dig
things
through
from other
Sure.
from another plane?
I would like to walk up to the big giant statue face,
Mhm.
and I want to do 2 things. I want to
Sure.
see if I can try to identify what type of giant it is,
Okay.
and I want to, ask Javaris if he recognizes any of this,
Okay.
or the giant face.
So go ahead
I'm
and make your
looking at.
persuasion check for Javaris.
Oh, I'm not
Oh,
using.
you're just
Legend
talking to
lore.
him?
I'm just talking
Okay.
to him.
So you look around. First, what is your investigation check?
23.
There's 23. So with the 23, you dig through the ruins here a little bit as Alina flies over the well, and as Valis walks towards this kind of thing, as Billy kind of looks over at the gore pile and considers rolling back around. And then you make your way over towards the rear of this building where there's a little bit more structure still. And you can see in the ruins there is glinting of metal, precious metal. In one of the corners, you can find a chest, and this chest at one point quite giant. And there are huge slivers of gold that looks like it was through a very simple process, maybe smelted. They look to be roughly rectangular, though many half rectangle, so like jagged sort of. They look almost torn. But when you look at all of it and you really clear some of the rubble, this is several hundred gold pieces worth of gold, just kind of shards of very simply refined gold. And then sniffing around, you find roughly the size of one of your legs, a really just kind of moldy cloth sack, and within it there is like huge dried orange slices that at one point had been kind of candied with sugar and salt. Now they are like, there's mold that has like fallen away and dyed itself on this stuff. And then you find within the corner of this space, there is something that is a little bit smaller. It is sized more for you. It looks almost like a little bit of a workshop. And here there is a tremendous amount of broken glass, but with that was a 19.
23.
With a 23, you do find a single intact bottle that as you kind of shift and shimmer, it alternates from being perfectly clear to when it is agitated, murky and black. You find with the 23 as well a flint and steel, a tent, a sleeping roll, and as you're pulling these away, something falls out and it's bones, and you recognize that you're pulling the remains of like a person kind of out of here, but shaking the rest of the bones away. There is a broken crystal carafe, and you can see there is a breastplate that is attached to the dead creature that is under this rubble.
You wanted a breastplate?
Does it work?
Does it seem mundane?
It seems pretty mundane. There's a spider motif on it. But what I will say is, Ori, as you examine this breastplate and you look at it, the spider motif, you kind of bring it up, something's off about it. It's not magical, but as you move it around, you recognize that you're moving it and you don't hear anything. This is quite quiet. And though it is not magical, you would imagine somebody wearing this would not have disadvantage on stealth checks.
Ooh, that's useful.
Enjoy it.
That is something that you find as well. You find all these things here. And within this search, you do find several sort of references in Giant. You've seen Giant before.
Does anyone speak Giant currently?
I can read it. Coming.
Oh, I can read it.
You fly away. But what are you doing over by the statue?
Well, do I recognize what type of giant it is? I'm assuming it's a giant after people saying that this used to belong to a giant house and it's a statue.
That makes a lot of sense. That
Yeah.
adds up. I would say make a nature check.
So we've seen this before where there's like giant structures that have then been repurposed into smaller humanoid structures. Does it seem like that was the case here and it became a drow structure afterward?
No,
Or
the drow
is-
thing seems like maybe that came later.
Okay.
That's a little bit more recent.
14.
With a 14, as you look at this, you get the sense, not a hill
That's
giant
fair. You got
perhaps,
a
you don't get the sense for exactly what it is, there's not enough of it there. It looks like a revered figure. It's carved very, very intricately. This is a beautiful carving. At the scale especially, very impressive. And you don't see signs of tools. You're not sure how this was done. But who or what it is, hard to tell.
Can I ask Javaris if he recognizes the statue?
You absolutely can. Javaris says, Valis, who is a friend. I do not recognize this statue, but Alberon began in the Age of Giants. They swept across the planet as an ocean might sweep across a plain during tides. Valis, who is a friend, do you know about oceans? And he begins to talk to you about oceans and what the difference between oceans and seas are. And there's a common misconception that an ocean is any body of salt water. But Valis, did you know the largest ocean is in fact frozen? And he just talks about like all these different things that just widely unrelated to the task at hand.
Like,
Yes.
Off to the side, just as an FYI to everybody, Rez is enjoying his time in his big Rez body, and he's polymorphing from goat to vulture and then back to big Rez, like a lot. That's what he's up to in the corner.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, this is freaking great.
He like runs as a goat and then leaps into the air and into a vulture. Yeah, no problem.
He's figuring out his moves.
So
Press A twice and then B.
we're in the Shadowfell.
Alright.
How are we getting back this time?
Did we read the giant yet?
So you go over, you can kind of hear Minka talking in the corner, but
Back the way we came.
go over and you do see that there is different kind of references in Giant here. But the one that sort of piques your interest is in the kind of top of this space. There is a big iron plaque that is widely rusted over and it's hard to read at first. But rubbing little elements of it away, you can see it reads Kasaro Ord, which, as you look at it with your eyes of the Runekeeper, rearranges itself to read the Elixiry of Giants.
Elixiry?
Elixiry of Giants.
Like place where elixirs are made?
Perhaps. You think about this well, this huge source of water. If there were potions being produced on a massive scale, that would be very useful.
Also, I found this. What's this? I'm
I don't know, what is
shaking
that?
the vial of clear to black liquid.
Shakes this vial.
Not
and
like
it's like
shaking,
water.
but kind of like, broken light bulb.
But
Yeah,
as
yeah.
soon as Ori shifts it, it just into this dark, cloudy fluid, and then as the agitation stops, it is just clear again.
Can I do like an Arcana check?
Yeah.
Since he's dangling
Yes,
it in my face.
Yeah, Billy,
Potions!
go for it.
Yeah.
And Billy, you can
I'm
make
not
your
good.
check at advantage.
Yeah, I got a 7, so it's all filled.
With the 7, you are looking at a health potion that's gone bad.
16.
Like,
But
ew,
with the
don't touch that.
16, you know that is not a health potion that's gone bad. That's something much more valuable. These are hard to make. To generate a potion of any kind of resistance is difficult, but for one that is a resistance to necrotic requires a very careful touch.
Oh, that would have been good. Just like a minute ago. You know how we've been encountering a few things where they are. Oh, you experienced this, where they hurt you and they kind of like don't.
So many things have
Oh my god.
You walked into that one.
And you don't heal. They wound you and your wounds don't close. This will help with that.
Oh, like the shadow creatures.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
This will help you resist some of that.
All right. I'm going to hold on to that then.
You put that in your inventory. And functionally, that is a potion of resistance to necrotic damage.
Cool.
Billy walks back over to the gore pile, not to roll around in it,
Okay.
but to find some like evidence to bring back that we have indeed slain the thing we said we would slay.
You have basically blown this creature in half,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a hand that is intact.
Sweet.
You can lob off a finger or the hand.
Roughly how much gold can I scoop up from the slivers?
It takes you a couple minutes to kind of count as like Alina is translating and as Billy is kind of trying to hack off like elements of this giant sort of being. Probably about 245 pieces.
Oh, okay.
It's big. When I say big, triangles of gold that are about this size, and they're very thin but still like pretty
Almost
substantial.
like bars.
They
Or
look
not
almost like flat
rods or
bars that
something.
were like
Yeah.
torn in half in some cases. Yeah,
Cool. I put them in my handy.
They're like
Susan.
flakes, but giant flakes.
it's like two halves of a
Forgetting that
pill,
you have
and
a
these are
kid.
just like
I was about
ripped
to be
in
like,
half.
you don't have one of them. Yes, you do.
When we enter this area, you mentioned there were like dead bodies around.
Outside, as you had kind of traveled through, there were a few that you had passed. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Does it look like we can go back the way we came?
You turn, and the terrain is not what you had seen. If you look to the south, the direction that you had kind of wandered in from, give me 1 second here, you can see a substantially dark sort of plains that rolls out in front of you. There are no bodies here, but when you look out there, there is something that is uncomfortable. It is like if you were to walk out there, you would lose a sense or a connection to something, perhaps. There's something that is foreboding about the landscape to the south.
Oh, so it does not feel like we can go back the way we came unless we want to traverse through that. What you just mentioned?
You don't even know that through here is the same terrain that you had rejoined. You are in the Shadowfell now, and it moves and it shifts, and it's a dark mirror, but it's an approximation. You make a Arcana check as you peer out into this darkness. You glance off to the east.
11.
You glance off to the west, but all you see is darkness, and all you sense is a foreboding sense that there is something dangerous beyond.
We have accomplished our goal of slaying the star spawn. But now we are in an area that we don't know. Are the starlight thingies still there?
No, those wigged out.
we have-
Richard died.
So Alina's gonna be like, okay, so I can help us maybe find the path back to the material plane, but it's kind of like a one-use only thing. But I mean, if we can't figure out how to get out of here, I can help us find the path, upgraded version.
So there's that. Any other
Yeah.
suggestions?
Does that work with a place that you already know, or does it work in unfamiliar
Are there any
places?
other
It
like,
works. It just So mechanically,
wall
it's an upgraded version of the spell Find the Path that just allows you to find the direct route to some route.
Flourish.
But we can use it for locations on different planes of existence. It's allowed.
Okay, because
You don't have
so
to,
is it still need to be a familiar place though?
no, because you can say like a definition or a destination that's not specific.
Okay.
But I could just say back to the
Carriage,
oh sure, that's
the stagecoach.
the stagecoach, or
Because the stagecoach is still for sure back in
or I could say
Well-
the Divine Court.
the Line Court.
So
We
we
will end up with it.
we left the stagecoach. We walked for a little bit, and then I found ourselves here. Right, that's the general.
We went through a certain
Transited
part
planes.
within the forest where it felt like a shift into the Shadowfell. And now we're here. And we walked not a terrible amount of time within the Shadowfell to reach this area. But we started seeing like carcasses and dead bodies.
You can't see much further than about 20 or 30 feet. Cart might be out there.
Can I peer out with my special devil eyes?
With your special devil eyes, you
Yeah.
can. About 60 feet away, you can see the cart. But it is a dark landscape. You're not seeing the same kind of ground that is the sort of like broken elements of stone and the birch trees. It's something different for sure.
So, is it that the cart kind of joined us in the Shadowfell?
It's like that's the edge of what
Oh,
joined
okay.
you here. Yeah.
So
I
wait,
see
we
the
can
cart.
It was a 27.
I can see it because I have like extra dark vision.
120 feet of dark vision. Yeah.
So when Alina
And
says that, Billy's gonna put that back.
Okay, you do that. For you, Ori, as you look around, mindful that here in the Shadowfell, you are in a place that is quite dangerous. You keep an eye out for what might be approaching.
So wait, if you see the coach, can we just walk towards it and be back where we were?
I mean, I think so, but it's spooky out there.
I don't think it always works that way.
Straight
you
ahead,
see it.
above where Cheshire and Minka are, you can see out and above the broken landscape, the broken kind of walls of this elixir of giants. And you can see a towering forest of trees, dark and just really ominous. And in the distance, where they grow even taller, 60, 70, up to 100 feet tall, with that check, you see one of them is slowly moving. And it doesn't seem to be approaching you directly, but it is getting a little closer. You can see off to the east a area that in the darkness there is movement here. It rises up and across broken lands of like hillscapes going up into almost mountains. And in that space, what was your check?
27.
Just barely. You see wisps of ghostly movement. You've encountered ghosts before. That seems to be a haunted land.
Off to the east, you said?
Correct. And then off into the west, the only other place that you can see, because to the south, just darkness that only Alina seems able to perceive too far into, you can see there is what looks almost like a dark mirror to the Fields of Folly. You see a stony land, and there is darkness like what is to the south, but that moves. And you can see, almost like seeing ants at a distance, there is movement, but you can't precisely track it. It's hard to tell what is darkness and what is shadow.
I like
That is what
to
you see.
join Alina as she's staring back, and I'll
Okay.
say, "Are you sure that you can see the cart?"
Am I sure that I can see the cart?
Make an insight check on yourself.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, 21.
You feel really sure that you can see the cart.
I'm
You squint
fucking
for a
sure,
little
man.
bit, your eyes adjust, your pupils get bigger, and
Yeah.
that's the cart.
Yeah,
Point-
that's the cart.
Point to the direction that it's in. I start walking that way.
Wait.
Valis turns and just,
I don't think you should.
Darkness.
Okay.
for
Maybe
you,
you
it's a
should
little bit
just
less dramatic because
make
you
it a
can
little
see
bit
Valis
shinier.
just walk the whole way.
Yeah.
Someone should light something.
Cheshire's going to.
Light a thing.
Cheshire walks into the dark.
Kind of skipping.
How far
I'll
off are all the things?
produce flame.
This isn't gonna cost
Thinking like
too
suns.
much.
This is not a god. I'm sorry.
Starting a light.
I just got my general
Wait,
natural glow.
I've produced a flame because she said light something, so I do.
You
Light.
produce a flame, and the
is-
darkness here does feel like it almost swallows it. It causes about half the light that you would expect, but it does provide a little bit of light.
I'll cast Moonbeam.
Don't do that!
Moonbeam just parts the darkness, only 5 feet in a shaft, but it also provides only about half what you would expect here in this dark place. The shadow's starting to almost swallow it. but you do feel like a beacon in this dark space.
Do any of the things that I just noticed notice the noticing?
In the distance, you do see the tree shift its course.
Something's coming.
Yeah.
Then let's go.
Go to the cart. Quickly.
Everybody
Alice,
this way.
Cheshire, Alina, Billy, you make your way into the darkness. Minka and Ori, the two of you presumably follow as well.
And I'm
Yeah,
gonna help
I'm
anybody
keeping
who
an eye to
looks
make
like they're
sure
stumbling a bit, since I have
Nobody
special eyes.
stumbles using your produced flame, using Moonbeam especially. You are able to kind of follow, almost like a character selected in an RPG, this kind of shaft of light through the darkness. And you reach the cart, and Alina, as you lead the group there and you take the first step and you reach out to get it, it is like your hand hits colder air and your face just breaches almost like the surface of a pool, and you are on the material plane.
Okay. Everybody in the cart, right now.
Just pile in.
Wait,
You're
in
right.
the cart or
Thank you.
just
Thank you,
in front of the
Tasha.
cart?
In front of the cart, but then
Okay.
you can get
Get
it. if
in
you
the
would
cart.
like.
So
Everyone get
I
on.
will drop the moonbeam,
Okay,
and I do want to inspect the bodies that were dead to see if any of them were divine court.
sure.
Grabbing Valis and tucking him into the cart.
I would say no inspection needed. Make a medicine check, but without even making that check, you can tell that they're not the divine court. You had said that they had mentioned that they are few in number.
It was Drow, I think, right? Because, well,
Either
Can I
way, I
check?
think that we should get
A
out of
medicine
here
check.
now, before it swallows us again.
19.
With a 19, as you look here, these are human bodies. You're seeing kind of dotting the plane here, and they're in different states of decay. Most of them pretty advanced, but there is one that you can still see elements of flesh and fat barely clinging to the body.
Okay.
Billy's like packing everyone into
Yeah,
the carriage.
everybody.
I would
Prez
say
is gonna ride on
With that
top
check,
because
though,
he doesn't
you
want to
do
give up
note
his big
there are
body.
accoutrements of a hunter on many of these,
Okay.
and they do seem to be perhaps members of that hunting group that are no longer with.
the hunting.
We have to
I
get,
get-
going.
um,
Portal's closer.
I get packed into the cart.
As we're
Thrown
going
into
into
the
the
cart.
cart, looking back,
Okay.
is it like just a black wall that we can't see, or like? Because I've been keeping
When
my
you
eye
turn
on
and
the,
you look
the thing
back,
coming.
even with your eye for detail, even with the passive perception of 27, you are looking at just regular air, and you feel as if that is still a transition point, but you see nothing that would tell you otherwise.
Okay, so like, doesn't seem like it's coming through with us
Well,
at the
if
moment. I
you can
guess.
cross
You
over.
can wait if
you
you want.
I don't want to wait.
Okay.
As soon as everybody's in, twa, and then
There it is.
my
Magical
God.
horses.
Can I look up, and is the astral eclipse there?
You stare up, and the astral eclipse is there. You can see the endless expanse of like a dark emerald, endlessly just twisting, ever out of sight. There is no sky, no starlight here. But you are
See-
back in
I have a
reverse.
question.
And you can see the
Moat
star
of the
shard.
star above the divine court. Yes.
So we had been told that we had this like time frame, right?
Mhm.
Do I think that what that meant is that maybe this entryway into the Shadowfell is gonna
Very quickly. Yeah. You imagine probably in no more than about an hour, actually, given the you guys just squeaked in on this first night.
Hell yeah! All right, yeah,
Um, do you share that information?
yes. I just say
Is
it
that
out
thing
loud.
gonna get there? Judging by, can I try to mathematically judge the pace and be
Make a
like,
flat
if
intelligence
it's going
check.
from there to
Actually,
there?
make a survival check. Make a survival
Put on a
check.
math cam for this one.
Right?
Did you say anything?
If a monster
I don't
is
have the
traveling
map
at a
set up
speed
to
of
it.
20
Yeah.
miles per hour,
Did you
Don't
say
forget
that
the
on
the way.
hypotenuse.
Yeah, I said that there was a thing coming.
I have a feeling that
That's why
it
we're
felt
living
really
spaces.
uncomfortable
Nice.
going through that
16.
portal. So hopefully, whatever that feeling was of
I think
being disconnected will stop them from following us.
Billy, I don't know where you are in the carriage. Are you in the carriage? Or are you on the carriage?
No, you left
Yeah,
me behind
who's
in the
at the
portal.
You're just waiting.
Well, if you're behind, Billy's just gonna lean out and shout. I don't think those things feel that kind of thing the same way we do. I think they'll just more of the same.
With a 16, hard to tell. But you would guess, yes, it can certainly reach this before it closes. If it chooses to move through or not, another matter.
Just
But
keep
you
an eye out behind us.
clop through the darkness on these horses, keeping the shard of the starlight above you. You have traveled through difficult terrain, but you know the way back now. And so as you begin this journey, because it is 8:40, we're going to step away for a quick break, and then we will come back and return to the Divine Court, if all goes well.
Right.
Thank you for sticking with us
no,
for
the wheels
TNT.
fell
We'll be
off.
back at the end of a 10-minute counter. We'll see you then. And we're back. All of us made it to the table in time.
I was
We're
gonna
all
go get
here.
another
All of
silver.
us are here.
It was my fault that the
No slackers. That
Let me
didn't
just
make
let me
it to
just
the
bring you in
table.
here for a second and invite you to follow us on Patreon. Follow us on Instagram, on YouTube. Are you okay over there?
The
dying.
chips are too crunchy because I didn't get a chance to finish them. I'm
That
sorry.
happens.
Talon.
No, it's okay. But you can follow us on Patreon, Instagram, all those different things. Thank you for joining us for this D&D game. If you stuck with us through the break, if you did not, we're playing D&D. This group has just vanquished a star spawn, and they now find themselves out of the Shadowfell and making their way back towards the Divine Court.
Hooray.
It is about 6 in the morning as you make your way over. You follow the shard of starlight. You pass an ominous circle of trees, though as you pass, presumably by it and not through it, it just passes you on the right, and you can see just the returning birch forest around you. You pass by an area where there is a crevice, and Minka, you see beneath in the stones here now, as you kind of travel and the light level rising up, glints of light, you can see Moonstone down below. But that passes on your left.
That's
and-
where we were before.
Yeah.
and just pressed up against the glass, little bits of dried blood falling off from the now healed wounds. You make your way back and towards the Divine Court. Alina, you are the one that is traveling, right?
Yep.
Make a perception check just as you do.
Okay.
Who else is in the front?
I would like to. Generally,
I
Ori
think
likes
we said
being
that was alright,
outside
Yeah.
of the cart and
Cool.
outside in general.
Or likes the fresh air.
Can he
Right.
help me?
It's good
Or
for your
make his
face.
own?
Yeah, you can make a perception check as well.
Okay. Alina got a 13.
Okay.
Ooh. I think
Sorry.
Ori also got a 13.
You make it back at about 6:30 in the morning. It is late. You are tired. You are all facing exhaustion, but you roll in unimpeded, and it sort of sneaks up on you that there's a few folks just waiting for you out front. But right when you pull up and you kind of pull on the reins and the horses skitter to a stop, and the rest of you kind of boom, boom, partially falling asleep in this cart, but waking up. Or you and Alina, you on the front see an Arcadian Voidwander and Tiberius Etherglass, 2 star elves who stand above 6'4" each, with skin that glimmers from within. Their blindingly white attire comes together with their physical characteristics to make them 2 familiar beacons in this dimly lit place. But there is a third figure now that has joined them. And you see the new figure stands between them and closest to you. They're about 6 feet tall. They are a star elf with pale, long white hair that runs down past their shoulders, though it is largely tucked behind this white cowl that crowds their face. They have silvery chains that are sheathed in silver rings that bear notches carved almost ritualistically across them. But most strikingly are his eyes, which look on with striking coldness. And behind this new figure, the tall Tiberius Etherglass speaks, and they say, "You have returned. You have succeeded. And foretelling both, Euthelius has returned to us as well." And Euthelius, the individual who is the new person, steps across the space instantly towards you, Billy. They lock eyes with you, instantly singling you out from the rest of this group. And they stand about a half a foot away from you, their eyes peering intently into yours, and they say, "You. You do the bidding of hags, and worse, perhaps. What would drive you to make such foul connections? What greater purpose would cause you to make such pacts?"
I was born.
Make a deception check.
So can we maybe
Can
go
I ear for
inside?
deceit as well?
You kind of like tired, get off. You kind of whisper that out. Make a check with your ear for deceit. Make an insight check.
Can I help Billy by
No.
like looking real friendly? No?
No.
Okay. Like I'm a friend.
What was that check?
Sorry.
I want to hear his first.
Sure.
I'm looking, man. It wasn't great, so you're pretty lucky.
Well, I got a natural 20.
Oh,
Total
okay,
of 20.
yeah.
They look at you and you throw up a wall of deception and charm. There are lessons that are coming back to you almost unbidden. And as this rises up into your face, there is a part of you that doesn't like it. These are old lessons from old people in your life. But they don't seem to be able to pierce through it. And after a moment, they say, understand this. You will be a target amongst all others when we reach the Arcanants.
The what? Sorry.
The Arcanants.
Argonauts.
They look at you and they say, this evil that you have associated with, it will cling to you like a specter, yes? Everything will be drawn to you and those you care about. They will step back.
Thank you for sharing things I already know.
They look at you, Alina. They don't blink. And they say, very curious. I see an imp, but I do not see a darkness with it. And they step closer to you, and you hear Rez gulp. He is like right behind you. He's become smaller over the course of your travels.
Yeah.
And you can hear him just kind of gulp. And as he gets closer, in your mind, you hear, I think he can see me. And then out loud, he kind of coughs and goes, look, guy, I don't know what you're on about, but... And Euthelia says, interesting. He kind of draws back a little bit. And Tiberius says, so what do you think, Euthelius? And Euthelius responds, you set before me a hag's errand girl, a magicless man, a hierophant, in a ladron half full, an aspect of chaos, and a blue girl, and ask for me to guide them through the Sentinel Wood.
I'll take it.
I think you are asking me to lose 5 more souls to the shadows. Though, and again, they look at you, Alina. I suppose you have dispatched worse groups before, and a few yet live. I will take this group through the Arcanants and into the valley where whispers die, past the abominable demikin of Canath, into the dome of Alandar. But from there, I will go no further. But I will help them cross.
The what of Kano?
Aliens?
He turns to look to you, but before he can speak, Tiberius speaks and says, there are dark creatures that live in that valley. Creatures that descend from vampires. They will drink your blood, your energy, and grow stronger with it. You must be careful.
Billy just elbows Ori gently.
Can we rest, please, before we make any further moves?
He
We are
nods, but almost
exhausted.
instantly Euthelia senses this kind of like tension, sees the nudge, and turns and looks at you and says, do you have entanglements with the vampire kin already?
I have been mocked.
We went to a party, and it was a very strange day.
They sigh, and you can see Tiberius looks to Euthelius. Euthelius looks to Tiberius and says, they will likely all die, you know.
Billy,
That is-
like, at this point has been, like, digging through the sack and just pulls out and plops the big star spawn hand down in front of them.
There is just bits of gore and blood that just spew across the ground. You can see Narcadian kind of draws back, but Tiberius and Euthelius do not. After Narcadian draws back, they look, and for a moment they take this plate off their chest, and you can see it is carved out of diamond, and they break it. And in this moment, there is a burst of healing that just spreads across this entire space. And for each of you that are within a 30-foot radius, you regain 80 hit points instantly. You see Tiberius suddenly surge with health, the wounds that have festered in them for quite some time now suddenly regrowing. And they kind of breathe in deep. They nod and they look at you.
Not bad for a hag's errand girl.
Euthelius does not seem impressed, but Narcadian and Tiberius do. They nod, and Tiberius says, "Thank you. This was an inconvenience, more than an inconvenience. You all wished some sort of aid in your crusade to come. Follow me. I will bring you to the armory, and then, of course, you can rest."
Thank you.
And they turn and they make their way up the stairs, where some of you have gone before. They travel past the landing that you had all arrived at, and up to a floor that is new to all of you. Tiberius comes to a doorway that is almost silver in its construction. Beautiful gleaming metal. You can see ornate around it. There is a group of celestial glyphs that, to your eyes, Alina, rearrange themselves to read the Chamber of Words. And as Tiberius touches the doors, they swing open quietly on well-oiled hinges, and you can see in this space, almost empty, a chamber where there are countless pegs where many of the plates that hang on these Divine Court monks probably once hung. Now, almost empty, save about 30 of these. And many of them are carved in silver, but there are several that are carved out of diamond. You also note that as the door opens, the individual, give me 1 second, who leads the, sorry, not the individual who leads the Divine Court, but an Arcadian would kind of pull you back, Minka. Just like 5 feet, not back, like not into the darkness. The road across the
Get 'em, boys!
They just kind of hold you back so that you don't like immediately step forward, and they just say, "There is something about you, you know, that is similar to us, I think. Tiberius knows more, and I'm sure that he spoke to you about this already.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a chance that you might be able to help us.
I've heard.
I want you to have this."
Oh.
And they begin to remove this glowing white cowl.
Mhm.
You sense immense magic radiate off it as they pull it off of their body.
Oh.
And they hand over to you the untarnished cowl. This is something that just glows with immense magical power, and as you touch this, you can feel strengthened, and they say, "When you wear this connects you to our people.
Mhm.
You will be stronger for it, more resistant to damage, especially necrotic damage."
Oh. Thank you.
Functionally,
Mhm.
when wearing this cowl, which is a very rare magical item, and this is the untarnished cowl, you will gain +1 to your AC, and you will have immunity to necrotic damage.
Nice.
Whoa. Megan kind of bundles this
It
against.
does require attunement.
Megan kind of like bundles this against or something. Be like, "I will borrow this, and whenever we finish whatever we're doing, I'll make sure it comes back to you. This is something too precious."
They nod, but they say, "I have worn that cowl for hundreds of years, and still we stand on solid ground. You represent hope that we might go somewhere else, somewhere far beyond here. Wear it proudly, and may it keep you safe." For the rest of you, as you make your way into the space, you see these glowing kind of things. And it kind of adjusts to be more of like the gauzy fabric that is very Minka in quality. It looks like many of the kind of blue fabrics, but now just stark white over top. For the rest of you, as you enter here, beyond just these plates, which are magical, though many of you, as you kind of spend time in here, get the sense that these would require attunement by monks, which none of you are. And unfortunately, Shay would have a field day on this place.
Playing the wrong character.
But aside from that, within this armory, there is a central
Bloodborne
table, and
2.
on this central table, you do see two things that are not plates. One of them is a ring. You can see it is made out of iron that seems to glow with an interior starlight almost. There is something to it that in the darkness here seems to almost pull you in like warmth on a cold night. It feels almost like there is a concentrated hope within this sort of piece of metal. And then, Ori, really drawing your eyes to it, you see a sort of element of leather that is like bright, almost cherry red. It is fine. It is supple. There are beautiful, almost elvish motifs that speak of like mountains and of just roaming across vast landscapes. You see like a mountain range on one side opening. Well, that is what you see. The leader of these Star Elves, Kyberius, says, unfortunately, many of these items are useful to members of the Divine Court, those with the appropriate training. But if they would be helpful for sentimental reasons, or if any of these other items would be helpful to you, you are free to take them.
What do these items do? What's special about them? I mean, thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Can you tell us more, please?
Each of these plates, and they turn and kind of point to the things that are hanging off these pegs, represents a great deed, or something that has been accomplished by a member of the Divine Court. And each brings with it different powers or abilities to those who are trained in how to use them.
I meant the ring and the armor.
They step forward and they pick up this ring. And they say, this is a ring that was worn by somebody who traveled and passed beyond the stars. It was given to a partner, a promise that they would return. Many years have passed, and that promise can no longer be honored, but the hope of that promise is still within. And functionally, this ring likely has some element of hope that would bring hope to a hopeless situation. They turn and they pop open the clasp on this sheath, and you can see within Ori, there is steel unlike anything that you have ever seen. Because something has tempered it. This is not paint or coloration or decorative enameling. The steel itself, because you can see the razor sharp edge, also a cherry red. It has been hardened through some process, chemical or likely magic, that makes it bright red. And there is something magical that is almost certainly attached to this. And as they withdraw this dagger, they say, these are the shooting stars of Xandaroth. They once belonged to an archfey who travels across the plains still to this day. But these weapons, they replenish themselves over time, and I'm told that if they hit their mark true enough, they will blind the enemy in a flash of starlight.
Careful, Alice. You don't want to look too close.
Everybody turns and looks at Ori, and you can see Kyberius like looks at everybody following the gazes, and then picks it up and says, "Would you like these?" Thank you. And they hand these to you. These are rare items. They do require attunement, but these are something that you could use to make your thrown weapon bonus action a little bit more effective.
Nice. Does anything speak to me, Joe, at all?
As,
Give me the ring.
as you look at this place, you can see of everything that is within there. First of all, here you can see silvery strings that attach to all of these plates. These are magical items, certainly within these items. These are magical as well. And the string that attaches to this ring is bright. It glows. That is something that is important and super helpful. But more than that, you turn to the rings that, or the strings that it's reach out with glowing energy attaching to each one of these members. You see Tiberius, he is wearing bracers that glow with this ethereal sort of translucent color, but as he touches like the ring, the starlight kind of flares to the bracers themselves. Those are magical, and in fact, not just magical, those are almost certainly legendary as you look at them. There is a string that attaches to the boots as well, but not silvery and ethereal like the boots. The string is dark and drips a smoke, and you get the sense that there is something a little bit more offensive or perhaps hidden, or make an insight check. You see another string that attaches to the staff that Narcadian is holding. It is hollowed out and made of the same material as the tower.
21?
With a 21, you've seen cursed items before. You are looking at a pair of cursed boots. But you see another kind of silvery string that stretches out to the staff that Narcadian is holding. You see a silvery string that goes to the cowl, now worn by Minka. It is bright, almost white, this string. And there is something about that seems to be right on Minka. You see there is strings that go to Euthelius. They go to something that is attached to their back or person. You cannot see what it is, but it goes into the cloak and cowl behind them. And then the chains that are hanging off them, they glow with a white light that is not radiant or starlight. It is white like pain. And there is something to it that is certainly magical and certainly quite powerful. And as you look at all these strings, they look at you. You see Euthelius stares back at you unblinking. One eye golden, one eye black, just regarding you.
Just kind of looking back.
But that is what you see.
Can I look around and see if anything looks particularly helpful mechanically?
From a mechanical standpoint,
Yeah.
you can wear a ring, you can throw some knives. You're not proficient at throwing them, and so probably not super helpful. And you're not a monk, and so most of this stuff does not speak to you.
Were they... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, as Alina's gonna lean over to Cheshire and be like, "You always seem to be able to find the light in hopeless situations. Maybe you should take that ring."
I mean, I'll hold it.
For the rest of the journey, Cheshire just
Yeah.
holds it.
It is a ring, it is a rare item, it doesn't require attunement. But you do get the sense that once that hope leaves the ring, it is gone forever and back into the world.
Well, I guess before we go rest, is there anything we should prepare before we head out?
Euthelius looks at you and says, "You all intend to pass through this enchanted wood. That is the most dangerous thing that you have done. These trees of magic are animated to kill anything that might wander through, save beasts, it would seem."
What about clouds?
You could see they regard you and say, "I would be wary of using magic and relying on it. They have a way of dispelling it, it would seem."
Good to know. Okay.
You can see at this, Tiberius kind of nods to Narcadian, and Narcadian turns and says, "Can I show all of you to your rooms?"
Please.
They guide you back down the stairs, back down to the first floor, where there is, near where the bathrooms are kind of located. I think it was Ori who made use of them before. There are a pair of rooms that each have 4 beds, and you can divide that up as you would like. One room off to the left of the door, one room off to the right.
So before leaving Arcadian, I'll take out that plate that we found and kind of hand it to him and be like, "Is this from one of your fallen comrades?"
They would take that and eyes open fairly wide, and they would say, "A temperance plate. We haven't seen one of those in some time. Where did you find that?"
Valis said hi to a crow, and the crow brought it to us.
A crow brought this to you.
Mhm.
Where?
On the way here, while we were passing
west of the Fields of Folly.
They immediately like make their way out. They go back upstairs, like a minute or two pass, and they come back down and on the table roll out a local area sort of map, and you can see the Fields of Folly. You can see the I think it's the Basalt Teeth kind of off to the northeast. You can see like all the kind of local landmarks that you're familiar with, and they say where.
Could I just point it out?
With your features, yes, you absolutely can. You remember and can recall the path perfectly, and you point to the rough location there.
And the
Saw
very
the bird
intense
about there,
one-on-one
and
pat
then
with the
it
crow.
was about there.
You can
And if
see
it was traveling
they
at a wind speed velocity,
they look intently,
carrying it,
but
which
they look
probably
over
weighs
at
about
you
the
and they say,
amount of a coconut.
would you mind if I take that back, please?
Oh, of course. It's not
I
hard.
must show this to Tiberius, but thank you.
You should also be thanking Valis and Ori. They're the ones that were able to convince the crow to bring it to us.
They turn, they look over at you, Valis and Ori,
Mhm.
and they say, I'm not really sure what that means, but thank you.
You can talk to animals.
Thank you for talking to that crow. This means more to us than you could possibly understand. There are parts of our history that are missing.
Thank you. Sometimes the other party members look at me weird when I talk to the animals.
They turn and kind of, disapprovingly look at the rest of them.
It's because he talks to them in their language. It's just us standing here
this?
watching him go.
The pelican
Girls
was
were
especially
going to
weird.
It would seem that all of you would benefit from some sleep, so I will leave you to it. What are you saying?
This is Tiberius, right?
This is an Arcadian Arcadian.
I'm gonna honk shoot the fuck out of this.
Cheshire ushers all of the girls into one room.
Oh,
and shuts
okay.
them.
Here we go.
I want
So-
to hang back, I think.
Okay, you hang back. You and Valis left
Oh, we
to
hang
your
in.
own devices.
Yeah.
But also by transit.
Okay.
Unsupervised.
So he's kind of in the main room, but you can see he's like gathering supplies, seems to be kind of getting ready. But if you want to talk to him, easy enough.
Not Gideon, excuse me.
Yes.
The creature that we killed,
Yes.
this was something that is beyond the astral eclipse.
That is where they come from, yes. They take all different sorts of shape when they inhabit the material plane and often use resources that are more available. So that seems to have taken on elements of a hill giant, perhaps.
How prevalent are those sorts of creatures beyond the astral eclipse?
That's hard to say. I've never been beyond the astral eclipse. But given how often they appear here, there must be plenty of them.
And you still want to do what you're intending?
If there are such dangers beyond the astral eclipse, then yes, I would wish that our people would come back home.
Knowing that by opening it up, it makes it more likely that those creatures will also come here.
Opening what up?
The astral eclipse.
I don't
Returning
know
the
about opening
stars.
the astral eclipse,
Well,
but
returning the stars to the sky.
I don't wish to return the stars to the sky. Perhaps there is some other way. We have searched. We have searched for years. But your friend, Minka, she's from our people. She may not look it, but she is. Things are changing.
Alright.
Am I here?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I don't say anything.
You're just like doing the robot in the background. I'm thinking like the Dave Chappelle skit, like
Giving
the guy
him
that's
jazz
always
hands.
just doing the robot.
But are those changes going to be good for the world? Or good for just you and a select few?
That's hard to tell. It's always hard to tell. You're from the Magiocracy.
so much anymore,
But you know how the magiocracy works.
unfortunately.
Actions have consequences. We have borne the consequences of our forebears' actions for millennia. There is nobody on this planet that is more familiar with the concepts than us.
Fair enough. I guess when you extrapolate that far, something as small as that wouldn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
It matters immensely. That is why we've never tried to break the eclipse.
But what you're doing makes that possibility greater.
What you're doing makes that possibility greater as well. Every time Hearsome sends somebody to the dome, there is risk.
Suppose you're right there too. Well, see ya.
They continue to pack. Yes.
I was told that you... Do you have a copy of the Treaty of Four Seasons here that I
We
could
do.
read?
Yes.
Could you take me to it?
You can read?
We have it bound
No.
in several volumes. It's nothing so grand as a tapestry, but we do have it bound in several volumes. Yes, of course. They turn and they say, actually, and it's on the first floor. They go through some of the bookcases and they pull out a few tomes. Give me 1 second here.
Actually, we have it on audio cassette.
They pop
I'm
it in.
imagining like Encyclopedia Britannica, like all the volumes.
You can just hear them go. When I'm recording a podcast, I like to slip on my. No.
Please hold it.
They pull out a couple of different tomes, and you can see there's actually 4 of them. And they say, is there a particular convention that you're interested in?
Our duties as the Justiciars.
The 4th convention, then. They take the 4th of these volumes, and opening it up, they just kind of put it in front of you. And if you read through this, it would take a couple hours to read through, but dedicating maybe 2 hours to this, you can get a good sense of what's in here. Are you doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Or are you just starting your trance?
I'd stick around with
Okay.
Alice.
So this talks about how in the case of conflicts between any of the 4 principal factions or any factions that bear allegiance in the name or purpose to one of the Fey Courts, an arbiter shall assemble an independent group at their discretion.
Start my trance.
This group will serve as, and you hear from the beads, this is quite wordy.
From me.
You go into
This
the beginning
group will
of the
serve
plains.
as
At some point, Ori's been like looking over Alice's shoulder, and then at some point
Justiciars
I'm just
of
like,
the treaty. The arbiter may not be a principal member or leader of the summer, winter, spring, or autumn courts. The arbiter must hail from the Feywild and have no connection to a faction on Everest. At the arbiter's discretion, members may be added or removed. Should a party be slain in the line of duty, their soul shall be committed to the glimmering oasis, and a new party shall be duly appointed. There are several articles based off this.
Just gonna.
Alex Arcadian has like a bunch of he has like a backpack on now. He points at the articles and he says these have all been added due to various circumstances after the original treaty. But they continue to pack their stuff. Article 1 says justiciars should be furnished with information asked for, and every effort should be made to aid them in their endeavors, provided it does not put a private citizen in danger, physically, fiscally, or morally. Article 2, and this one seems to be penned a little bit more recently. Justiciars are to be issued a sigil of the Treaty of Four Seasons to serve as a badge of office. The
I like my
sigil
sigil.
may be used to open the Fayglass Armory in Copperroot, the Duskwalker's Tomb in the Onyx Spire, and the Emerald Embassy of Gath in Jukara Dai, provided this will not jeopardize the safety of each locality. Article 3. The justiciars may not supersede the Pact of Twigs and Thorns, and all rules pertaining to the aforementioned pact must be observed in cases when this conflict with Article 1, Article 3 takes precedence.
what's the pact of
Article
Peace and
4.
Thorns?
Justiciars are obligated to assist law-keeping forces that fall within the jurisdiction of the Treaty of Four Seasons on matters that concern citizens outside of said jurisdiction that occur on the faction's territory.
We were called for one of these
This is actually the
On the
main
beetle
reason
train.
you were called, yes.
Ah,
to deal with
so
the
someone else
rock
did
monster.
read this?
And then the original reason that you were formed is actually they plop down a 5th tome and they say, "Very sorry, I forgot about this." And
Oh, do you have one on the Pact of Twigs and Leaves?
I don't have a
Twigs and Thorns, thank you.
tome on that, unfortunately.
You're welcome. I'm not there.
We just have a copy of the,
Could you
the
ask
Treaty
your
of Seasons.
beat man?
Yeah, I'll ask him.
But they pop down the 5th convention as well. So, thumbing through the other tomes, the first convention talks about how an act of war, and it really just goes into detail about what that would kind of entail, against one faction is an act of war against all factions. This is Article 4 from NATO. The second convention details what constitutes what is considered consecrated ground, and really lays out like what can be considered like consecrated ground, both mechanically, but also from like a cultural standpoint for each of the factions. The third convention details how the dead of other factions are to be treated, and actually does mention the Treaty of the Order of the Tearful Dove as one of the factions that can be used to handle dead amongst the different sort of groups.
I like focus on that part
Okay.
so that I can know how to
Utilize that.
treat other.
So you imagine if you
Give the
were
proper
in
rights.
one of the 4 major factions, well, 3 really. The Divine Court, very small faction, but if you were in the Emerald Spire, you would be able to use the 3rd convention to be able to access and otherwise handle a dead body from a different faction. So thinking back to your first investigation, back in the kind of racetracks in the Emerald Spire, you could have used that to just take that body and leave and go and just figure out what to do with it elsewhere. You could have avoided the combat and just kind of left. Knowledge is half the power. Knowledge is half the power. Sorry.
Power is arrested.
Spell slots are like 10%. Action surges are another 15. But yeah,
that's a-
you have in front of you the entirety of the Treaty of 4 Seasons.
Can you send it to me? Like,
Yeah,
do you have it
sure.
typed out? Can you just send it to me?
I
that
have it
way?
typed out. It's pretty
Do you guys have
approximate.
a
It's only 2
PDF?
pages. It's only 2
to
pages.
drop us?
Yeah, I can send it to
drop
you.
it.
Drop us a PDF.
I
into
think-
my stone.
Arcadian.
He nods to you. And he says, if you do require anything while Tiberius rests and I'm out in the field, falconry should be up on the very top floor.
Is he the 4th? That is
Yes.
the 4 of you?
They mine the shard of Imiante. They bow their head and they make their way out the door.
He was letting me just read them, right? He wasn't giving them to me?
Yeah.
Okay, so once I've done reading, I'll go back
Snag
to
'em,
trans.
Right down the
You
pants.
return. For all
We're
of
not
you,
paying for these.
as you rest, many of you can receive wounds from this creature, and those heal up. They actually heal, and they heal fully. And beyond that, when all of you wake up, you feel a little bit stronger,
Shut the fuck up.
and you have leveled up.
Nice.
Jawmaw the Voidgouger, legendary creature. That's a pretty substantial kind of tempering of your weapons prior to engaging in this next leg of the combat, for sure.
Yay.
Nice.
We don't even have to wait 3 episodes before we do a long rest.
I wake everyone up.
I learned about this new fact!
So if you're Alice, with you and Ori only requiring 4 hours, you could wait until like 7 hours, 5 hours in, and just you could
Let's
you
go
could
fuck
Sorry,
deprive
it's gonna be
everyone.
hilarious.
Damn.
I want to.
Ready to action.
I
in
want a
7
campaign.
hours and 59 minutes.
I want to plan a campaign where the elves have realized that just by using a war of attrition,
Yeah.
they could use their like 4
Their
hours of
extra 4
sleep
hours,
to
yeah.
just keep an enemy army
Oh,
always
yeah.
awake and always just
Yeah.
suffering. Yeah, I think that would be
Especially
a
if
great
you just
strategy.
stagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
24/7. So anyway, it's 7 hours and 59 minutes. I go and slap everyone.
yeah, absolutely.
Slap you right back, and I murder you in real life.
Each of you takes this long rest and you wake up feeling stronger than you remember. After facing this creature, you feel a little bit ready, a little bit more ready anyways, to take on the challenges that lie ahead. As the sun rises, it is the 12th of high summer. It is now significantly later as you all arrive at like 6 o'clock, you go to bed. You wake up right around noon, many of you. For you wake up closer to like 10 o'clock, in the morning. All of you can mark off
Nothing
your
like a
long
good
rest.
sleep after reading a lot of words.
I feel like the first like 2 hours of Valis reading it was just Ori getting ASMR. This is like Article 4, Section 12.
Who's waking up first?
The elves, I guess.
Yeah.
So Ori and Valis, as you emerge for the day, Euthelius is just standing outside of your rooms, kind of turns to more fully be oriented towards both of you. But he says, "Are you ready?"
It's a loaded question, but yes.
For breakfast or what?
To leave, I believe he meant.
Yes. We have travel to make.
Is everyone else up? Are we the last to wake up?
I'll go
Turns. You can go, and if you want, you can knock on the door. You've all achieved your long rest.
Wake up!
Right at the 8-hour mark. It is mechanically enough for a long rest, but like emotionally, spiritually, you have not recovered from the night. You wake up, it's just too loud outside, but you do wake up.
Oh, could I have attuned with the
Yes,
things
absolutely.
in the
Yeah.
downtime of my...
Absolutely. And I will send you on Discord
Cool, the statties.
the statties, yes.
Yeah, them steady.
Send me those statties, Dad.
That's the oh no. I won't do that, but what I will do is I will send you the stats of those items. I'm happy to do that. So all of you wake up one by one. You kind of come to feeling a little bit stronger. What are you doing to start this day off?
A couple of push-ups, some pull-ups, or whatever I find.
Alina's gonna say to Billy, should we update Hearson?
Breakfast first.
Yes, breakfast. Oh, she'll pull out the tray and be like, boom, breakfast. Should we update Hearson?
I don't think so. There's nothing of note that we've learned.
We killed the... Oh, okay. We did a cool thing.
Euthelius looks at you
Here's
as
some
you
feelings,
talk about
yeah.
updating Hearson,
Yeah, I believe so.
and he says, "How much do you trust this Archfey?"
Not very much.
About as far as we can throw him, honestly, but
He's kind of heavy.
he's been really useful.
You see the Arbiter mentioned within the conventions.
He can be, yes, and oftentimes has been chosen, I hear. I have not been in Everest long. Not for long, anyways.
Who do we know who wrote the treaty, right?
I mean, like, in the sense that, like, you know the people who signed the Declaration of Independence. You know a couple big names. You don't know, like the poor dude who had to
No.
sit down and, like, actually do, like, the copy
No, we're
editing.
not
for
like,
the-
oh yeah,
The
it was
admin
Jeff
staff,
who
the
wrote that.
clerical.
But no, you have a rough idea. You do know that
underwriter.
it was the four original
four,
courts. It was the Divine
yeah.
Court. It was the the Crystalline Council in the Emerald Spire. It was the they have a dope ass name. Give me 1 second. The leaders of the Magiocracy of the Rising Storm, I believe, are called like the Stormlords.
Yeah.
They also were signatures of this. And then the very first kind of lords of Volcanibear were also part of that treaty.
Okay. So just okay. So we are going, and there will be vampire kin or true vampires. I don't really know what the difference is.
Before
Trees that
we
want to
go,
kill us.
Do we have anything that could help us? Or is that everything that we have?
Important clarification about your trees. They do not want anything. They exist to destroy. There will be no charming. There will be no frightening. We must fight to survive.
Okay. Any so they're like animated trees, not like independent beings like the treants?
When the treaty was created, and when something must be made to keep things out of the valley, this forest was erected.
Okay.
Not even a good creature, charmed by something dark, could make it through. Anything should be destroyed, because anything going through does not have a positive purpose.
And we need to go through and we can't go over.
Correct.
Okay. Or under.
So turns and looks at you and says, under is an interesting idea. How would you go under?
Well, I mean, there are plenty of caverns through the Underdark. I wouldn't be surprised if one was underneath the dome and traveled underneath the forest.
Perhaps that would be a safer route.
Thinking about the
Rude.
large tree-like creature that I saw off in the distance in the Shadowfell, would that, like, knowing that that was kind of this weird mirror world, does that kind of ring any, like, alarm bells?
Yeah, for sure.
Being like,
It should. I mean, I can't control
Like-
you, but yeah,
but, like,
I would bring them for
thinking
me.
about it, that was the same
Direction,
direction, like, mapping it out if it were.
It's
like,
not even
a
hard.
mirror
Yeah,
world.
you can.
It's
very
like,
easy
oh, okay.
one-to-one correlation.
I'd be like, I don't think that would be the safest route necessarily. There were trees down with the star swan there.
Well, that was in the Shadowfell, not the Underdark.
Right.
Different
but,
places.
Right, but
The Shadowfell version is worse, certainly.
it feels too close.
Well, I would assume if what you saw was the reflection of Shadowfell, then I guess.
What you saw in the Shadowfell was the Deadwood. It is a place where undead treants infused with the Shadowfell itself roam.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Okay. That. Never mind then. Don't want to go there though.
Within the Sentinel Wood, at least the wounds will heal, and you will not find the strength sapped from you so quickly.
I do appreciate my strength not being sapped quickly.
Furthermore, I am told by Narcadian that one amongst you can speak to beasts. As beasts are the only thing that can roam safely there, that may prove to be an unlikely but useful skill.
It's been pretty useful thus far. So, shall we go then?
Let me hold on. I just want to check something really quick. I'm looking at my spells. This spell, like the asking nature spell. That's like a several mile radius, right?
Yeah, it's a big spell.
Yeah.
Commune with nature?
Community nature. There we go. I found it. 3 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. How large is the wood outside of the dome?
Quite large. It travels far to the west and east, sprawling like a blanket around the valley.
Okay. When we get towards the entrance, or towards where it begins, I can ask the land if there are any passages underneath that we may try, if the forest is so challenging. Maybe it'll be an option, but it might not. But it'll be information at least.
They tilt their head and sort of nod. Then you should try. It is unlikely that all of you will survive the Argonauts. Anything, save the Shadowfell, might be safer.
Do I think that my wayfinding leaf could? I know. So the spell is meant to find the most direct route.
Mhm.
Do I think that I could use it to find like the route that I think is the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
you certainly could.
So Alina's gonna be like, well, if we're gonna try to find tunnels, I can help with that. I mean, you know, and she's gonna pull out her little leaf and be like, you know,
We'll do mine first because
Yeah.
it's reusable, and there might not be anything. It might be all like bedrock.
Billy, are you gonna be okay if we find this? If we have to go underground?
Why do we always go
Because
underground?
that's where the baddies live.
I'm sorry. I don't want to die.
This one lives in an open plain.
I'm sorry. I find them really comforting.
Why don't we just gather information first?
Well, we have to get there first, right?
Yeah.
They nod their head. It is about a day's travel to the forest's edge. There you can do whatever it is that you intend to do, and see if there's an alternate route. If there is, you will go alone. You only need me through the forest.
Should we go in our carriage, or I could put it, you know, away if we're not gonna use it?
Are you all capable of flight?
Some of us.
Can be.
Does help.
Occasionally and uncomfortably.
It sounds as if your cart would be preferable.
I did prepare the wind walking. If that would be better.
You may want to preserve your magic until you need it,
Okay.
but it is up to you.
Okay.
Off we go.
You finish your breakfast. It's a delightful breakfast, but it's a little bit overshadowed by the fact that there is this immensely dangerous task. As you woke up, each of you felt strong, you felt powerful, you felt like you were going to seize the world. But as you eat the last bit of toast and you make your way out and into the darkness here, a little less certain. But you board the cart one by one. Almost immediately, Euthelius takes the seat on the front next to you, Alina, if you were driving the cart,
Yeah.
which does force you, Ori, to ride in the back.
Ori, do you wanna?
You
I don't have to.
Yes,
could I drive?
Oh,
And Alina's just going to put the reins down, climb into the back, and whatever happens, happens. Somebody else can drive. That's fine.
Okay. I sit in the front and I
Okay.
take the reins.
You feel Ori about to stand up, but you just push him aside. You just stiff arm him right in the face, slam his head into the
Ori,
wall.
did you want
Alina's
to
You
gonna
drive?
be
shout,
like,
"Stop resisting!"
Alice, Ori is
Fresh
better at spotting danger when he's out front.
I just more prefer the fresh air, but if you want to drive, that's fine. Just don't squeeze it. It's just...
Oh my god.
smacks and kills us all.
Euthelius will say, "Choosing seats should not be this hard."
Pardon me.
Billy's just like in the carriage.
sit down in the
but
front.
It is.
You sit down in the front, right next to Euthelius.
Alice has to tank you, Billy.
Okay, mechanically,
Yeah.
I have proficiency in vehicle land at the moment.
Fair enough.
So you twa the horses and yaw the horses.
With
and
proficiency.
With proficiency, you start off and away from the Divine Court. You begin to travel off into the north. The road ahead of you, as you begin to travel no more than 5 minutes out of the space, the light of the tower still allowing you to see the features of it in the distance behind you, it begins to rain. And there is a very, very low drizzle. It's the kind of rain that is almost annoying because it's not hard enough to truly be rain, but it's a little bit heavier than mist. And so it does fall and it does accumulate and it does kind of soak into your clothing here and there. For you, this untarnished cowl, if you were wearing it, the water just almost hydrophobic, just slicks right away from it and you stay dry. But you make your way ahead and the chilling rain does seem to kind of clutch at your spirit. The trees around you do begin to transition truly from this birchwood to a much thicker forest. And here you begin to spot oaks that draw quite tall here, and then pines as well, kind of mixed into the space. It begins to grow denser and thicker, and there is heavier underbrush as well. Give me a moment. Okay. Valis, as you are up on the top of this cart, can you go ahead and make a perception check, please? And then make an animal handling check, just for fun.
$14 for perception.
Okay. With a 14,
And natural 20 on the
Nice.
animal handling.
You just like casually beast talk to them.
an hour goes
guys.
by, 2 hours
Right,
go
boys,
by.
let's go.
Euthelius is quite quiet. As you're traveling, you don't observe a lot of creatures around. In fact, almost none. Although you do see from time to time there is the flight of actually it's a little bit later in the day, so you would see like there are a few birds here and there, but they keep a distance away from you, and that's pretty natural. Most animals do that. But you don't see anything stalking up on you. You don't see floating or flittering shadows. It's a little bit quieter here. And you proceed with that issue. You don't see anything. Euthelius keeps a very close eye out. You get the sense that as
figured he
they
would.
appear in the darkness, the gold eye in particular gleams out into the dark, and he seems to be finely attuned. When you spot something, when you see a bird move, he's already looking in that direction. And so you get the sense that he's more perceptive than you are, at least in this moment. Is there anything that you're saying as you travel? The woods begin to grow up bigger and larger and darker around you. You're still in a plain, but you see the forest truly about a half hour
We're in a
ahead.
carriage.
Will we need to leave the carriage to get through the woods? Or can the carriage travel through the woods?
Euthelius turns to you, and they stare at you for like a good minute before they say, "Usually, the animals have spooked by now. But you've got a steady hand. It seems as if we will be able to make our way to the forest with your cart. I doubt they'll pierce through the tree line." And you continue, and these horses, you can feel, they're magic. There is something to these horses that is unnatural. Even they are growing restless. Even they are kind of beginning to every now and then pull away. With a natural 20, you keep these animals in line. You
Stay in line.
bend
Extra oats when we get there.
you bend these steeds of the autumn court to your will, and they will travel to the forest line. But as the hour kind of passes and you see these trees directly in front of you, even they stop, and they will go no further. Euthelius turns to you and he says, "In this place where only beasts can go, your autumnal steeds are a bit too fey."
Do you see any beast around that perhaps I can try to talk to help guide us through these woods?
There will be none this close to us. They do not fear the trees. They fear all of you. And me. He swings around and gets off the cart.
Do I see any animals around?
Make a perception check.
Woo! That will be a 22.
He was not lying to you. He didn't see any animals, but you do. Off in the distance, right where the trees are, you can see a tiny little brook. It is no wider than maybe 2 feet across at its widest, but the water does run here. It is clear. You see like little bits of leaves that have fallen in it, kind of carried along in the current. And you see something larger than that as well. You see on the other side, quiet, slinking its way, like pressed down against the grass. Not a familiar form to you, but one that you recognize perhaps from books. It's about 2 feet long, but you see a beaver. Just kind of slowly, quietly, it looks at you and freezes, and then slowly continues to kind of move along. But you do see.
speak with animal, and I try to talk to it.
Hey, wait a second.
So you're calling out across the space. It's like probably a good like 25, 30 feet away.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Hey, little guy.
In this moment, make a persuasion check. You see it spooks. The big tail comes up. It stands up on its hind legs, almost like an anteater making itself big for a second. You see in its eyes, it is fighting, it is flighting, it is fawning. All these reactions competing, and your check will determine.
23.
You can see the tail slowly lowers.
Yeah.
You see Euthelius is standing up, the hands on the hooks and the chains on his chest. He's ready to like fight. There's a very tense moment. And then for everybody else in the cart, like you've just heard Euthelius get down, and then the air grows tense and you're not sure what's going on. And then in the distance you hear and you hear, "Are you talking to me?"
Yes, you.
Oh my god.
Well, by the big beaver in the sky.
Oh my god. Love him.
Kind of crosses the little brook. You can see dips in and out, and you can see Euthelius takes a chain and like begins to swing it around, and the
Let him
beaver
cook.
stops.
Stand down, Euthelius. I believe it's just a beaver.
I think at this point, Minka's gonna like get out of the car and be like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, can we get out?
Minka,
You all get out of the cart. Yeah,
what
sure.
do beavers eat?
Wood.
Yeah, it's like, do I know what beaver is? Do I know what they eat?
Make a nature check. I would say
Berries,
just
wood
flat,
pulp,
as you
leaves.
not super familiar with the beaver in your cave.
Would I know?
Make a nature
15.
check. 15. You aren't familiar necessarily with beavers, but looking at this and the overgrown teeth, you imagine it probably eats like that. It probably looks like a little bit more of like an opportunistic, leaning towards herbivore, but it would probably eat meat. You get the sense that that's not its primary diet.
Dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, you imagine that this creature here especially is really surviving off of like roots and smaller creatures that exist within this brook.
It's probably some sort of
Like frogs?
Perhaps.
small fish,
It
guppies,
seems, yeah, like a
berries, twigs,
opportunistic,
root vegetables.
probably prefers
It's pretty bad.
vegetative. Could hunt.
It's got a relatively diverse diet. for
Gets
the
to within
amount
like
of
5 feet of
vegetation
you and then
around
looks
the
back behind
local
you and just
ecology.
goes, "Oh, they with you?"
Yeah, they're with me. I was just asking them what do beavers eat so I could give you some food.
Oh,
don't
I'm
have-
a beaver. Yeah, I could use some food. You got any fishes? You got any little roots? You got any little flowers?
Just
You got
off
any
all of his favorite
eggs?
foods.
Do I have any of those things?
No.
Do we use the plate already?
Eggs in this
did.
economy?
Oh my god. Let's see. I think I have rations.
I can use my background feature to scavenge for, like, I can forage.
I believe
basically.
the foraging happens over a short or long rest. So if you want to start the process of a short rest and start digging around, you
I
can.
relayed that to the
Sure.
group and asked if the
Yeah.
group any has any of the above.
Wait,
We got rid of all of her potatoes.
I should have kept like one.
I think
Billy
I
just
have
like opens
some-
one eye from her nap. She's like, "Can't you make flowers?"
I think I have some rations.
Not in great volume. Mingus will look around and be like, I could druid shape some edible flowers. I don't know how many there would be. She'll like attempt it and be like, it's probably
no.
like a patch, like
Um,
4.
How about good
It just
berries?
says, in addition, you can find food and fresh water for yourself and up to 5 other people each day, provided that the land offers berries, small game, water, and so forth.
You could certainly find water. Small game might be a little bit more challenging, but you could definitely look around.
Not really. There's one right in front of us.
Yeah.
Berries.
Berries?
It would be hard to feed it if you harvested it. But for berries, yeah, you could certainly look around. You begin that process, no problem. You do feel like, as you look around, the underbrush here doesn't have like any
There's not
berries.
a lot of
You would need to go into the woods to really search.
Mhm.
And you can do that for sure.
Not by myself.
Okay.
Mm.
As all this is kind of happening, the beaver looks at you and just says, "Now look, I ain't gonna bite you down because you look like some kind of a soft tree, and I don't think I could build anything out of you, right? But are you gonna hurt me?"
No, I'm not gonna hurt you. And I say this: none of my friends are also gonna hurt you either.
Beavers do carry as well.
We are hoping to
Shush. He's making friends. Maybe we'll get something cool again.
get through these woods to go past them, and we understand that creatures such as yourself are able to get through, but creatures as big as us aren't able to get through. We're gonna ask to see if you could help us get through these woods.
I don't think so. I think you're gonna get mulched.
Why is that?
Well, these trees, they don't really eat anything, but they chew.
Is it all the trees that chew? Or only certain ones?
Only certain ones. Some of them kind of make the knots come up and spiral around, and I've seen people like you get stunned just right where they are while the trees eat them.
Do you
Really just grind them up.
Are you able to tell which trees are the ones that will try to knock me up?
Oh, yeah.
And help guide us away from those trees as we go through these forests?
Oh, probably could, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, on the way, if we find anything that you can eat, we'll help get it for you.
Yeah.
He looks at you and he says, I don't think you understand what I'm saying here. You can come with me if you want. I have some stuff to do today, but you can come. I think you're going to die and get ground up into little teeny tiny pieces. I've seen it before. At this, Euthelia says, so, is this proving helpful to you?
Billy just like leans out of the carriage to Euthelius and just like, hey.
The little guy, I relay what he says, emphasizing that, what he's seen other people get mulched up. And he says that he knows which trees are the ones that it's not all the trees that will attack us, and it's only certain ones.
Valis.
Yeah?
What do you think my purpose as a guide is for all of you? Are you trying to replace me with this beaver? Because
No.
if you are, I am happy to turn around now.
Okay. I think the Arcadian said that speaking with animals would help, and I wasn't really quite sure what he meant, so I was just trying to get out. But now that you mention that, it seems like, yeah, you would be a perfectly
we're-
fine guide, opposed to the beaver.
Well, maybe
Shall
it's
we then?
time to look for...
Let me just ask really quick. Hang on. I'm gonna ritually cast Commune with Nature.
Okay.
Take 11.
So over the 10 minutes, you kind of scavenge at the edges of this tree, and if you want, you can find berries. They're not great berries. They're kind of
For
like
up to 5 people?
They're kind of like the mundane version of good berries. They're okay berries. They're berries.
Not gooder berries
No,
specifically.
these are berries.
Worst berries.
Well, I found some okay berries for us for the trip.
Oh, no good berries.
I guess you want to give some to your beaver friend?
I'm 100% giving some to my
I
beaver
give
friend.
half a person's ration of okay berries for this beaver.
You bite a berry in half.
The berry bites those and goes, "Oh, those are okay."
Oh,
So
what's your...
you ritually cast Commune with Nature.
Yes. So the 3 facts I would like to ask about are terrain and bodies of water, influence from other planes of existence. So there's not one that's specifically for like undergroundness, but I would assume that prevalent plants, minerals, animals, or peoples might help with that.
So you gain knowledge about 3 facts as they relate to the area. I would say you could sort of twist the terrain and bodies of water
Yeah.
to meet that need. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll do train and bodies of water, and then powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead, and influences from other planes of existence.
Okay. So first, you commune with nature. You really concentrate on the natural elements here. And for you, Minka, that's the stones. In this forest with plentiful plant life and trees and this beaver that Valis is talking to, you concentrate on the only nature that you know, the rocks. And as you do, as you go and you make a cool rock check, but beyond just checking how cool these rocks are, you're really checking how cool these rocks have been, how cool these rocks could be, how cool these rocks really will be, and you attune to them in a way that is new for you. And you can feel under you this excitement because you can sense just dozens of gems and elements where the stone transitions into other types of stone naturally through formation that really must occur over decades or centuries or millennia. You're having a cool rock journey through this experience. But all of that tightens and focuses, and you can feel beneath these cool rocks there are tunnels. Not just any tunnels, not just natural formations of the Underdark and the highways and byways that everything uses there. There are teeny tiny little tunnels, and you've seen them before. These are cobalt tunnels. And as you sense if there are perhaps celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead, certainly in this area, there are elementals. There are also undead. Kind of wandering through this place. And a place as dangerous as this, not everything that is slain leaves. And so there are certainly some kind of spiritual presences within this area. You get the sense that there may also be elementals, and you are brought back in this moment of connecting with nature, rushing across the stone to the same sort of sensations that perhaps might be felt by those that are able to commune with creatures that Alina has communed with before, these sort of gem troll-like entities, and perhaps something like that in the region as well. And then the final thing was...
Influence from other planes of existence.
We're out of potatoes if we need a gem troll, though.
Oh, for something else.
Here in this space, within 3 miles, there are certainly places that have influence from other planes of existence. There are elements that, deeper within the Sentinel Wood, almost certainly speak to connections to the Feywild. Connections to this wondrous and magical place. And then, interestingly, deep below the ground, within these kind of cobalt tunnels, there seems to be a connection to the elemental plane of fire. But that is what you know.
Okay. Okay. Good news, bad news. Good news is that I didn't find anything weird that we didn't already expect. So on that front, no new things. There are tunnels underground. They seem to be primarily cobalt tunnels. So they quite small. But that also means that there are kobolds. They might know something. And there are so many undead things in there as well. And maybe a gem troll.
In the tunnels?
Oh, just here.
Oh, around.
Around.
Cool.
Yeah. But there is a connection to the elemental plane of fire below us somewhere. So if we wanted to do that, that's also down there.
Rez, do you know anything about the elemental plane of fire?
Yeah, I heard it's pretty hot.
Okay.
We've been there.
It's not hell, right?
Thank you,
It's
Rez.
more different.
No. The elemental plane of fire. Oh, gosh. Mortals. All right, so if you think about like your material plane kind of as like a marble, right? The elemental plane of fire exists sort of in like one of the cardinal directions away from that marble. And then if you go north, you got the Feywild. You go south, you got your Shadowfell, you know. And then there's some other stuff too. I'm going to be honest with you. Outside of that, it gets kind of wild. Up above, but kind of like a little bit tangentially, there's the celestial planes, and then down below, the good place, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
The hells.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Did you say, have we been there before?
Actually, I might be wrong. Where is Kuatar Atreya? What plane was that
Kuatar
on?
Atreya was, I believe, on the elemental plane of fire. Oh, sorry, no, that was in the Feywild.
Oh, right.
Ah,
Okay.
never mind.
Well, when we woke up today, I realized that I can now transport us between planes instead of just from place to place on the same plane. So, that might be useful. I can like shift planes, plane shift, something like that. Anyway, it'll be helpful maybe if we find ourselves in that plane.
I feel
So-
like I suddenly got better at seeing things if I don't move for too much.
You've learned the spell look.
So you found tunnels.
I got
Are
a new
we
prescription.
able to get to the tunnels, or do we still need to?
I don't
Take
think it'll be
straight
as functional, unfortunately. There's no like large structure.
Is Speak with
so-
Animals still up?
Yeah.
So when you say tunnels, the beaver would say, "Are you looking for tunnels?"
Oh, yeah, little guy. We were thinking about maybe going through some tunnels instead of having to go through the forest with the mulchy, naughty trees.
I'm actually about half a pound bigger than most beavers, but all right.
Oh, hey. Sorry, big guy.
Big guy.
I know where there's a tunnel.
What's your name?
I don't really have a name.
Okay, big guy here.
Big guy.
Says that he knows where there's a tunnel.
Is it like a tunnel we could fit in?
Would we be able to fit in us soft trees?
Well, after the regular trees get through with you, probably, but not like now.
I'm confused.
Once we get mulched down, we can fit through the tunnels.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I don't think we'll fit.
Damn.
Well, at least we know that.
Are there any?
I don't know if there's any way around it, guys. I think we gotta go through.
Okay.
Looking through, can you see anything, or is it like magically? Does
Make
it
a perception
seem
check.
like
It doesn't seem magical. It's a very dense.
And I'm
blend.
not moving more than half of my movement speed, so I
Yeah.
now have advantage.
Hey,
on
look
perception.
at that. You got both eyes for detail now.
It's like a laser.
Or is like, wait a second.
Oh no!
Depth perception.
Or he puts his other contact in.
I guess it's still a 19, but that's just awful.
So it's a really heavy 19. You really gaze out, and the trees are just growing in such a way that they really form a wall almost. You can't really see through. There's space between them, but for you, hard to see. Did you see a beaver? Yeah, Billy?
This feels like a stupid question. I think I know the answer, but I'm going to try anyway because waste not want none.
Yeah.
Does Billy know about navigating through forests where the trees move?
Billy knows a little bit more than most.
Could Billy take us through the forest and have it be okay? With the
Billy, in
what
this
I'm here
moment,
for. As
you
a
stand on the
supplemental guide.
edge of this jungle. You look into it. It is dense, it is dark, and you wonder, can I lead these people through? And in this moment, you feel almost certain that you could. And
Yeah, Joe.
you feel almost like you can hear a whisper in the distance. Billy, can you make a perception check?
Just trounce on it.
Hello.
26.
Ooh.
With a 26 in the distance, in the wind, you don't hear words, but it's almost as if you hear whispering, like you are being observed, like you were being watched, like you were being judged, perhaps. And you remember the words that because she holds Billy so dear, she'll follow her until her doom. And you look over next to you at Alina, who stands right there. You sure could lead these people through here. You sure could. But because it is 10:08, as you mull over whether that is the avenue that you want to take, this is where we're going to end for the evening on that bright note. We will be back next week. You can join us at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday for D&D. But if you can't wait that long, we're going to re-air all of our sessions from this week on Sunday, starting at noon, and you can join us right there. But please, whatever you do, thank you for joining us, and stay safe. It is wild out there. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.